Hey, what's up, everyone? This is your man Jay. Thanks for tuning in. Wednesday Night Art Jam. Hail, General Piggy. What is up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Let's go ahead and mute this thing real quick. All right, we got the. I just ran up the stairs. Oh, geez. I'm gonna try and work through this horrible cough. So I had to get some cough drops. Hopefully, be able to do it. But in case you didn't know, Wednesday Night Art Jam, we're going to pick something to draw, and we're just going to hang out for about 2.5 hours, draw some stuff, and chilling. And that's about it. So, but it's fun. Let's go ahead, and we have a guest in the back. I should cue up my videos. And let's go ahead, and where's that at? Let's bring him out.
Here comes a new challenger!
Hey, Dad, what's up, bud?
Pew, pew, pew. New challenger. Nice. So this is the weekly drawing jam?
Yeah.
Pick the prompt.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, too, depending what the what the chat's looking like too. Sometimes we just have them pick some stuff.
This
So it all
would be
depends.
interesting. I
Who's in
forgot
the
that's
chat.
what this was.
Or honestly, if we've got stuff to work on, we do what we want here. So if we're like, well, I'm working on this. We're like, all right, cool. We'll just work on our stuff too. So
That's cool.
I'm always behind on stuff I need to work on, so I can always do homework. We call it we're gonna do homework.
What are you working on that's personal?
Well, so I've been tinkering around with this character. And I can't get he always looks like a rabbit. It's like this robot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just share my screen real quick since he's this rabbit robot whose arms can stretch.
A Wobot.
Yeah. And but he's like a firefighter robot. Like he's a responder robot.
Gotcha.
This is what he does. So like, firefighting or rescue and stuff like that, that's his job. But he has these arms that extend. His limbs extend. Kind of like to kind of Dr. Octopus kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do these cool, like have his arm stretch out, come off the page, come back, and so I was having him fight some Vespis
cool.
just for fun. But
are his ears supposed to be like plugs, socket plugs?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I dig it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then
Got a
those
nice-
are his antenna that recept the signals.
Got a nice Vespa in there.
So yeah, so I'm working with trying to come up with a name and stuff for him.
Yep.
There's that. There's a one or two logos I got to do for work. I'm trying to design new T-shirts for my store and
Right.
stuff like that. So and stickers too for the store. So and there's always plenty of stuff I can do.
What's the name of your store?
It's called Old School Player Video Games.
Old School Player Video Games.
Mm-hmm. We're in South Carolina. We've been open about 7 years now.
Wow. That's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it was the gentleman who started who I became partners with. He was a big flea market guy.
Mm.
And he would just go sell stuff and buy stuff at flea markets. And he just wanted like a little spot so he can test stuff before he sells it.
Right.
And people just kept bringing him stuff.
We have a really huge flea market here in Houston. I can't remember the name of it offhand, but man, there's this one section the guy has nothing but consoles and games. It's huge too. It's like a big warehouse, just full of old consoles that people didn't want anymore, or he picked up at garage sales. It's just shelves and shelves and shelves of this stuff. Like, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yep.
We have another guest in the back. Let's go ahead, cue up a video, and we'll go ahead and bring him out. Odin,
Challenger.
What's
what
up?
is up, man?
Another
Odin,
challenger.
This is Chad. Chad, this is Odin. Don't know if you
Hi,
gentlemen
Odin.
met yet.
What's up, Chad? No, I've never met. How you doing?
Good to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
I had him on a stream on Tuesday morning, and him and Dan just talking about G.I. Joes for 3 hours.
I wouldn't say
yeah, no, I
3
remember
hours.
when you did that. I had to go to bed though. I was like,
But-
oh, man, it was late.
We did talk a long time about
It
it.
was okay, 2 hours. All right,
No, that makes sense.
Wow.
it was a good time. It was a good time. We had a good time.
Jay wanted to go to bed, and we kept going and going
Yeah.
and going.
Yeah, it was kind of at that point. So like, well, there's no point in going to bed now. I'll just stay up, have a cup of coffee, and take my kiddo to school. So that's what happened.
Yep. Sorry.
Then I slept for the day.
Yeah, those are nice every once in a while, right?
Mm-hmm. So what you up to, bud?
Not I'm all wrapped up with stuff.
You
So
all
I got
wrapped
no
up?
homework right at the moment.
Oh no! I was hoping Hockey would pop on. Usually he shows up and he's with the app. But
Yeah, he's
worst
got
case,
the generator.
worst case, we could have General Piggy and Edwin. Edwin, the Raid of
So
the
Piggy
White
was
Leopard. I know he's working on that stuff. He did his Bloodbone ash cans,
Yeah.
and so he's going to start funding on that Raid of the White Leopard soon. So
yeah.
definitely check that out. Edwin Acevedo, the ace.
Ace. Yeah, I got that Bloodbone ash can. That was fun.
The one
Oh, was it
Donald.
cool? Yeah.
That's the one Donald drew, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the artwork was fun. Yeah, cool story. It just sucks. Like, ash cans are like they're teasers, man. It's like,
come on, man.
where's the rest?
Where's the stuff, man? Let's see if anybody else is coming in. Let me reshare the link out of this too, real quick, just so we can get anybody else popping in the chat here. Everybody streams on Wednesday, man. Gabe's streaming, Reenie's streaming, everybody streams. It's like I changed the day, and all of a sudden it's like, everybody streams. But I guess
now.
Yeah, right.
There's no safe day. I mean, you're gonna run into that every night.
We do what we want.
It's a crowded pond. Everybody's doing something.
There we go. We answer to no one.
That's right. I just hang out with you.
There we go. Right? That's cool.
What night you go on? I'll probably go then.
There we go. All right. Well, I mean, anything you guys want to plug? I know Bastards is coming out soon. I know you wrapped up Unconditional Shove, Odin.
I wrapped up everything, even the Cole story.
Yeah.
So 88 pages of drawn material. Those Cole story was hand lettered, so 6 pages of hand lettered. It's been a journey, man. It feels weird to be done with it. And I'm like,
right? You're like, what
shit,
do I do
now?
Now
I'll start on volume 2, I guess, but yeah.
Right?
That's the big worry. What do I do for the next one?
Yeah. Well, and I feel that anybody who gets the book is going to see a progression. And so I'm really excited. The art has gotten better. The storytelling has gotten better. It's like, it's my first foray into the making a comic book. So it's like, turned out really good, but I'm like, I could see and I could imagine people reading it could go, I'm watching your progression here. It's pretty cool. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know you're working on your Black Phantom. I know you worked on the book already, right? Or
yeah, the book
Chad,
is
right?
It's 23, 24 pages. It's finished. Just
nice.
to get the color on, or the cover colored, and finish going over all the dialogue, making sure I got it tightened up, and that's it. Then I want to crowdfund it, hopefully the end of the summer.
Awesome.
This is
very cool.
This is all new to me, and I'm trying to get out here and make friends and
yeah.
Start.
Well, it's a good place. Friendly people. What's it called?
The Black Phantom, and the story is called Rocket's Red Glare, and I've already started the next book. And it's going to be packaged with another book I did called Kid Squid Zero.
Nice.
And it has the origin of Kid Squid, Dr. Cthulhu, Pandora, and it kind of leads into like my own little universe, Nothing major, I guess.
No, that was pretty major.
Yeah.
So
I love that name, the Black Phantom. That's
yeah.
like that's straight noir kind of stuff there.
It is. It takes place during World War II. This first book, and just this last week, I had the lawyer that I'm working with. It's Ethan's lawyer. Gave me the okay to start talking about it.
Nice.
Because there's somebody else that tried or started using the trademark, but I had it before them, and even was using it in commerce since 2012. So
yeah, that's a weird thing about trademark is like they go by popularity almost more than anything. And like shown popularity. Like I've been using it, like you said, we have a trail of like using it. That's always good.
Yep. So I've got a trail on Instagram going way back, even before they had it. So,
well, it's one of those names. I'm surprised it's not trademarked already. There's
a copyright free character of a girl in a cowgirl outfit, in a mask, and she's called the Black Phantom. And then in the 60s, I just learned there was a guy in the 60s did a comic called the Black Phantom, and he's since passed away. But this year, some guy published it with the approval of the wife of the. Yep, there's my Spidey post.
Oh, yeah, no, that's great. Well, it's such a cool name, and obviously cool costume, and that's the thing. Like, you got something really strong to hold on to and start with.
Yeah, if you go to like my website, you can see the model sheet for the one in the comic. I just
Yeah,
did that for fun, but I'm not gonna print a book with that cover. I just did prints in 2012.
see.
Yeah, that's cool though.
If you click on the bottom there, you see Chad
Oh,
Townsend.
oh,
There you
okay,
go.
cool. Open a new thing.
It should open my
Do a
site.
new one. Yeah, let's do a new one. It opened it in a new window, so I gotta reshare it. Do.
And on Twitter, I have a page pinned to my page too. After,
Nice.
Cool.
wow, it's really weird. It should be able to refresh it, and it should be the first image. But
I think it's just the I don't know if it's just the browser or whatever. So
Interesting.
let's see, where should I go? Folio? Info?
let's just go to my Twitter page, and you can see it there.
Okay.
You
All
need
right,
to
I'll do
close
some
it.
work. Yeah, let me do some work.
It should be at the top of my website. The link.
You say you're
I'm sorry.
hoping to launch this summer?
Yeah, I want to crowdfund the Black Phantom and then another comic with it, because that way everybody will at least get 48 pages of comic when they buy. So
Yeah.
it'll be 2 books. The Black Phantom story I actually wrote when I was a teenager,
Oh, cool.
and I made several attempts. Like, you know how it is. Like, you'll make 1 or 2 attempts and then never do anything, and then
Yeah.
so yeah, that's him there.
I love it. It's badass.
That's a cool
Thank
design.
Yeah. I love like the forearm wrap kind of look.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a dead man who's kept alive by a skeleton key that he wears around his neck. So
Sweet.
he can lose limbs and attach them back and stuff. He's got, all these worms and junk in his body, but he also
under there.
he also is he's also kind of like Zartan. He can, when he takes his mask off, he can be
Change his face.
a changer. But as
Yeah.
part of my story, he's not gonna know his identity anymore because he's done it so much. He forgot who he was.
Mm.
So he only knows he's the Black Phantom.
That's awesome.
So immersed.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. I love it, man. Great character design. You said you got something.
So
Cool costume design, cool name.
his kryptonite is that key. If he loses the key, then he's dead. He can't, unless he comes back in contact with it again.
Mhm.
There's just some storytelling elements going there. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fun. Also, he looks like his design's really cool, and he also looks like he'll be really fun to draw.
Yeah.
Because you could like put him in like wacky poses and have him do like a bunch of cool stuff.
I almost want to draw him right now.
Right?
Like, let's just draw him.
Yeah, we'll just draw him.
That's what
Well, I
Matt
was
Barr.
thinking if we don't have the generator, like hockey doesn't show up, we could
Well,
pick a random character, CG character or something.
If you
Yeah.
want to, I check on my Twitter page. You can see one of the villains in the first issue and one of the pages.
Oh, nice.
Let's pull that up real quick. I do have your Twitter right here.
Because you might want to draw the villain.
I want to draw them both in action. Oh yeah,
Yeah, so he fights the Horned Toad.
horned toad.
I like the 4 arms. That's cool.
Texas
Yeah.
Christian University there.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Texas, and I grew up with them around, so I
That makes sense. Yeah.
always wanted to do a character as a Horned Toad. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a
4
cool, and I hadn't
Cool.
thought of that. Like that is a cool animal to anthropomorphize.
thanks. And then there's a page where he meets the Horned Toad.
Yeah,
So, are you gonna have just a grayscale?
Yes, it's going to be grayscale, kind of like movie-esque. There will
Yeah.
be some color in it, like reds.
Oh, I like that.
that's gonna be cool.
And then my next issue, I've already started drawing. I am definitely going to have a colorist. And then I might do a color version of this as another printing,
There you go.
Yeah. That's one of those things you keep it in your back pocket, and
Yep.
Resale value. Just got to get it colors.
Mhm. So I've had this character since I was a teenager, and I almost sold it as a pitch for a TV series, animated series to BET Animation around 2005. They were interested in it twice, but it never happened.
That may happen coming up. It's got
It's possible.
some great look to it. So
I'm not. It's not my focus, but
Yeah.
I'm good friends with the head of the studio, Sleeping Giant, and they made
Oh yeah.
the new Blade Runner movie and the Expanse TV series.
Oh, okay.
So that guy has my artwork hanging on his walls in his office.
To be like, hey man, hook me up,
Well,
dog.
I don't know. I kind of want to draw his character now.
Really?
Ooh.
His villain.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
you dig it?
Yeah, I was just digging it. I was like, man, this guy's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, right.
Appreciate it. He might be hard to draw for some people because I look at how I do the mask in that, and sometimes think it might be difficult.
It's an interesting mask because his mouth doesn't actually move, right?
Yeah, it does. I designed it so it can be animatable in a way when you're drawing it. you
Right,
know?
but not like open mouth. It's like a
actually there is.
mask.
Yeah, on the page, he's like talking.
There's a double.
Well, I saw it,
page,
but I thought it was like closed mouth.
there's a double page spread I have somewhere online. Let me see if I could dig it up, and then I'll just share the screen, or I might just share my Photoshop. But yeah, I designed it in a way that he can emote, because it's just something I've learned from being in animation all the time.
Right.
I want characters that are expressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and I know like you can get a lot from a closed mask like Spider-Man or Deadpool or something like, they
Right.
still have a lot of emotive elements in their face.
All right. I'll share my double page spread, and you can see how his mouth is open. Let me fit the screen. And then where are you? Share. I feel like I'm holding up the program here.
Oh, not at all. There's no structure.
Okay.
No rules around it.
You should be able to see it now.
There we go. Popped up. Let's share that. There we go. Yeah.
So if you look at the bottom right panel in the middle.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, it's definitely a mouth. I like that though.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's kind of got a skull face either way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a real simple story, but lots of action and gore and anyway.
Yeah, my kind of stuff. Gore.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stop sharing now.
Most of our stuff. That's why we do this. We love
Yeah.
action and gore.
Oh, did we lose him?
We lost our host.
I clicked wrong thing.
Oh,
I was like, let me close this tab. Up, shut the melon down. I was like, wait a minute. That's not right.
shut the melon down like
I got so excited about this
Gallagher.
character. I just lost my mind. Just shut everything down.
The second story I'm really excited about. I mean, I'm sure you won't care if I spoil it, but basically it's about the Black Phantom going after General Patton, who wants to go ahead and invade Russia against Eisenhower's wishes, and he does it using the Holy Lance.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Holy Lance or not.
I am not.
It's the spear that
An
pierced
artifact.
Christ's rib.
Oh, the spear. Yeah, the pierced Christ rib. Yeah.
And generals and kings have had it over many generations. This is like real history.
Right.
And they've actually conquered with their armies when they're in possession with it. But when they get distance or they don't have possession of the lance anymore, they all die not long after. So during World War II, the Americans found in April of 1945, they found the lance in hiding in Nuremberg, and that's when the war turned. Right when they found that lance.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hitler
started losing big
couldn't.
time.
Where's the lance? Where's the lance?
Yeah. Yep. Well, Hitler.
We're coming. Where's the lance?
There's a well-known. Well, I wouldn't call it well-known, but there's this book written by a guy that was both Hitler's friend and roommate before World War I, and a little after, and he said Hitler was not only a drug addict, but he was into the occult, and he was obsessed with that lance. He was constantly going and looking at it, like at the museum all the time, and
wow,
he wanted possession of that thing.
Wow.
Surprised there's not more stories done over that.
Let's see. Aldous. Hey, Aldous, thanks for stopping by here.
Oh, Aldous.
Let's see.
Hitler was confirmed a meth mob. Yep.
Sweet
oh,
Jesus,
yeah. Well,
Odin.
There's
What happened to the rodent on your face? This is Aldous.
Oh, yeah. There's a time and place.
Yeah.
I'm done with the stash. It's gone.
Mo Big says the mustache ride is closed for business.
It just feels a little different. The ladies are still woke.
Yeah, thank God he didn't smoke crack or be living in a different world, Hitler.
Well, during the Blitzkrieg, all the Germans were on speed.
Oh, Jesus.
They were given it in a tin, like speed pills, and they were popping them the whole time. That's how That's how they managed to rush in and invade Europe like they did.
Oof. That's
the
nuts.
Blitzkrieg. Yeah.
Yep.
My background audio won't work now. I'm sad.
There's your music?
My music. I can't play my music. I don't know what's going on.
It has to do with your microphone setting. There's you have to pick in the tab which one outputs the music.
Okay, because here usually you just hit share and then click background audio, and then you get to pick music. You get to load your music, and everything is working except the background audio tab for some reason.
Yep.
So it's like, what the heck?
So Aldous said, look up the story of Amo. Boy, I can't pronounce that. Koiven. Koiven.
Koiven.
I better look it up because I'm not going to remember that.
I'll leave it up so we know how to spell it.
You know, it's funny though. I was just watching Twilight Zone: Death's Head Revisited, which is like one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes, and that's where this concentration camp captain comes back like 15 years later to one of the concentration camps, and he's kind of walking around, kind of reliving his memory, his glory in his mind, until he's like visited by all these Jewish concentration camp ghosts that just drive him insane. But it's a really simple premise, but so well done. And then Anthrax sampled it on their song "The Belly of the Beast," and I never knew till I watched that episode, and then I heard it. I'm like waiting for Anthrax to go into music after that, because it was like, I know that quote.
Yeah, they didn't tell very many people, I bet.
Yeah,
sampled it. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, a little Easter egg of their own, you know.
I like Anthrax.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know how exciting it'll be for Chad, but did you just want to draw the Black Phantom, Odin?
I'm already started. We don't have to. I'm gonna draw it eventually anyway because I really like his character.
He's like, I'm gonna do what I want.
I mean, if I draw something and it looks cool, I'll just give it to you. You can use it if you ever want to. Like,
sweet.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be worthy of that.
Go ahead.
Time constraints, but we'll give it a shot.
The pressure's on.
The pressure's on.
We'll share that real quick, just so people, in case they didn't catch it the first time.
Yeah, Matt Barr said he wants to draw it too.
Oh yeah, I think Matt would just draw amazing version. Yeah.
Then
the Black Phantom.
He also shared with me a character that he's working on, but he's not going to share it yet. I think my character and his character could team up.
I'm curious. I'll just give a little short version of what he was talking about.
Oh,
I'm just curious. Oh, and Elliot's here. What's up, Elliot?
hey, Elliot. Hey, what's up,
Whoa.
Elliot? All right, let's read the thing there.
Thank you.
Wow. Read it.
Oh my God.
You want me to
His
read it?
shoulder got separated from his unit and accidentally took a full 10 of speed, a dose for approximately 30 men. Oh man.
Man, that
Yeah.
sounds awesome, actually. Like,
He was-
can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Like, he's just raging, like, frothing at
He's
the mouth.
probably
like,
destroying people with his heart.
just,
Mhm.
that would be,
walks
like,
up and thumps him to death.
that would be a super cool ass, like, anti-hero hero, you know? Like,
Yeah. Like a short story or something.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
short
I'm
story,
stealing
yeah.
it, Aldous. It's your fault.
What's history? I don't know if you can steal from history.
I'm making that dude now.
I don't know if you can steal from history. He already did the lance.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm stealing it.
He says the story is completely off the fucking hook. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely
It
off the
does.
hook.
So I have a lot of different generations of this character's costume from different eras. In World War II, or sorry, World War One, he wears the doughboy helmet, and it's got a white X on the top. He does have a skull mask that's it's not as fancy.
Yeah.
And then he also has a skull mask that is a gas mask too.
Hmm.
He wears the Hellboy kind of trench coat.
I wish I knew how to zoom on this dang browser.
Yeah. I have no idea where he got the swords, the samurai swords, but I thought it looked freaking cool.
That's all that matters.
One
And
of those stories for another time kind of deals.
and it works with the cross, you know, on his bandoliers or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It gives the skull and crossbones thing going.
all
Like,
strapped up.
I haven't done like a Mignola shot though yet, where he's in total darkness and all you see is the white.
Right. It was a negative.
Yeah. That's my total weakness is spotting black.
That's funny. I do it to a fault. Well, they said there's that old maxim, you know, when in doubt, black it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah, okay, that's what I can do.
I even already have a theme song that I want to use in a video, but I'd have to get copyright struck to use it.
Phantom Man.
No, there's a band called it's like Me Too and the Gimme Gimmes or Me First.
Yeah, me too. Give me shit. Yeah.
And they did an album that is all musical songs from musicals, and one of them was Phantom of the Opera, and it's so kick-ass though. It's a kick-ass version.
Nice.
I'm gonna sit here and eat and watch JBot draw.
Oh no, I don't forget that pressure now.
Once I switch to inks, I'll switch my camera on.
Nice. I've noticed going back over the pages, there's sometimes I mess up on the bandolier and I get the pouches on the wrong side or something.
How dare you? That's just for people to see if you're paying. If just checking if people are paying attention.
Yep.
In episode this and this,
Yeah.
page panel number 2.
You got to do the comic book voice guy. You know.
Did you know?
I saw an inconsistency.
Fat Mike from No Effects was involved in IIRC.
Oh, Fat Mike, yeah.
I don't even know how many people are in here. I can see the chat, but
Probably just all this.
It's just all this now. Elliot came by, said hi. Piggy and Mo left.
Aldous has a quote. Are you the creator of High and Lois? Because you're making me laugh.
Oh, yeah. My favorite comic book guy quote was when he was like, that is a signed picture of Sean Connery, or a picture of Sean Connery signed by Roger Moore.
Elliot says he is still here.
Elliot's here. Then we're good.
Awesome.
He said, "Hail Mo."
As long as Elliot's here. I
Hail
feel
Mo. As long as we're safe, as long as Elliot's here.
I follow it.
I didn't leave. You just stopped reading my comments, so it seemed that way.
I
what a
follow
Mo thing to
Elliot.
say.
We will have him drawing the sword out. That'd be cool.
I'm drawing him with a sword out.
Yeah.
Yeah, put some pants on him, dude.
Yeah.
Rock out with your sword out.
Yeah. No need to fear. Elliot is here.
Yep, and we could say Elliot has a book soon to launch called Ominous. Ominous.
Yeah, he got Matt Yackee to do his cover.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That's always nice, yeah.
Guy's a colored wizard.
The machine.
He's been at it a while.
Yeah, that always helps. Experience is irreplaceable.
I remember a Fraga talking about it's like anytime we talk about Matt Yackee, you never say Matt, you always say Matt Yackee.
That's true.
It's synonymous.
Well, it's the same with Barr, right?
Yeah.
You either say Barr or you say Matt Barr.
But it works with Dan as well, Dan Fraga.
Yeah.
Or
The
Fraga.
stream is my safe space. I ain't going nowhere. Besides Mo is here. Yeah, Mo knows what's up.
I think if you have a name like mine, then I get called by my first name a little more often.
That's a good question. How many pages you put out a week?
Oh, it varied, man. But I'd say on average, and it could have been way faster, because I'd say when the last stretch, it was on average about 2 to 3 penciled and inked. That was a full-time job and shit.
A week?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel good.
Well, yeah, I wish I could do more. Like,
Me too.
I have a full-time job and a long commute and all the, the things in life that take time away, and you're just like, I just want to be drawing, but I can't.
Yep, I know the feeling. I can get a half a page a day finished if I'm really focused.
Yeah. I think if I didn't have the job and this was like literally what I just did, I could easily do a page a day, pencil and ink.
Wow.
But
Well, Dan Boob freaked me out. It says he could do 12.
Yeah.
yeah, well, some people are just faster, and some styles dictate speed as well.
Yeah.
There's mitigating factors.
Yeah, it's beyond my comprehension to be able to do it that fast. I can draw props, for my regular work and just crank them out. And
Draw props. What are you doing?
I work in the animation industry.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
That's a lot more fun than what I do. At least on paper, it's a lot more.
It's fun. After a while, it's not as fun as it once was, but it becomes a
That's
job.
typical. Yeah.
Mo Biggs, just crank them out. Odin will be the first to tell you that's how dudes do each other.
Yeah. Cranking them out it's one way to do dudes. I never thought that phrase would have the kind of legs it does.
Dudes.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and quit with the sharing.
Oh man.
Gosh, she's almost got like a mask, like the Mask, the comic character kind of face. But I end up drawing it like that, and I'm like, that's not what it looks like.
It's taken me years just to get that look out of that mask.
Feels empty without my music.
Yeah, you're forced to talk, aren't you?
No, it's like,
Come on, host.
no jam.
Subject.
No jamming.
Oh, let me see if I can put a little music on with. Let's see, can you hear this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Music?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's get down.
Yeah, it's not too bad either. Like as far as volume and everything.
All you strippers, get on the dance floor. It's $50 dances. And then I got some RPG music. It is called Voice Mod. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Mm-mm.
It's something you can download for a Stream Deck. And they got tons and tons of music and soundboards. And I hope my volume's not too loud. Let's turn it down. Nope. It's all free.
Nice.
I don't want to override. Did I mute?
Nope. Oh, the music isn't playing.
Right. Yeah, let's see. I like this Stream Deck. It's pretty cool. He said he's gonna leave. He didn't like it, Mo Biggs.
Oh, Mo? Oh, yeah. Once you start
Once
playing,
you put the music on, I was thinking of that. I'm like, you're gonna scare Mo off.
Oh, really? Sorry, Mo. How about this song, Mo? No.
I dig it.
Carnival music. So this is, I think it's the same software that Shane Davis uses because
Shazam.
Because of that.
Yeah, there's a voice changing. There's voice changing software, and it does like that high pitch. Bam, bam.
Modulator. Yeah. Voice modulator. All right, I gotta look at your character again. You took the character away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can visit me on Twitter or my website.
I am, and actually, I'm gonna follow you.
Thank you.
I shouldn't tell people when I follow them. It's not as sneaky that way. But
Well, see, it's really strange because I was on here the other night, and the other guys said they were going to follow me, and I didn't see anything pop up. I think
that's
they lied
the sneaky
to me.
way is to say you are going to follow and then just not do it.
Yeah, like how am I supposed to follow you back if you don't follow me?
That's a good point. I guess that's winning the game. They're like, you can't follow me back if I don't follow you first.
Yeah. No, I'm going to make you look me out and seek me out. See? So Donald has been sick for a week, and
That's not good.
Yeah, he's been really sick, and it worries me, actually. I mean, when you don't see Donald posting on Twitter at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be worrisome. Well, I mean, not saying anything anyone doesn't know, but I don't think he's in the best shape. So, like physically. So you go, hope it's all right.
Yeah. He and I have known each other for a few years now, and we text almost every day, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And
nice.
Now when I text with him, I don't hear from him at all. And I'm like, dude, are you still sick? Like today he gave me an update and said he didn't puke today. So
well,
hooray.
That's better than another day of puking. Yeah.
Man, Jay, you're cranking that out, man.
Yeah, it's coming along. I see how he has little tiny guards for the swords.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. I made them too small for that model sheet. The swords. Was it your? I went on Jimmy Reyes last night, but did I tell you I was in Cool Story, Bro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
When's that supposed to come out?
When Ethan finishes Rainbow the Brute.
Whenever, I guess. Yeah.
But he's now. I think he's adding more stories to Cool Story, Bro. He's got a story by Chuck Dixon and a guy that Chuck wanted to draw it, so that's going to be in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
There was somebody else, I think. I wish he would promote Cool Story Bro more, but that's all right.
Yeah, I think it's one of the funnest.
Because I think people are going to be really surprised. I've seen the story Donald drew with your boy Zach's story, and it's top notch. Like, it is really good. It's probably one of the best things I've seen Donald draw.
Right. Nice.
The Dracula book he did was really good.
I did not see it.
I just saw the art. I mean, I didn't buy it because I'm broke, but
I understand.
I'm saving up for Jaeger bomb.
Yep.
That's what I want.
I'm saving up for just Jaeger, but
just Jaeger. A Jaeger bomb, right? I have all the Jaeger bombs I want.
Yes.
That could be a villain. The Jägermeister.
The Jaeger bombed. He's just drunk all the time.
Jaeger bombed. I keep telling him, dude, you better like jump on it before somebody else comes up with before you. I've had a I'm not gonna say who, but I've had a character in a story with a title that is now being used by a CG guy. But and I'm like kicking myself for not having put it out sooner. He's in a nice crouching Spider-Man pose.
There you go.
I think this will be up front. See how much trouble these legs give me.
So about that Spider-Man #1, that meant so much to me as a kid when that came out. I bought like 20 copies of that darn thing.
It was huge. Yeah,
it was huge. I bought 10 of the black and 10 of the regular cover.
That's one of the first I remembered having like the variant covers. You know,
right?
That being the thing. Like I didn't really remember comics being like that before. At least not for me. I didn't remember it.
I mean, I remember I was buying Amazing Spider-Man, and I'd already kind of knew about Todd McFarlane from the Hulk. And when he started drawing Spider-Man is when I took notice. I was like, dude, who is this guy? Like, why is he so awesome? And, you know,
wild. Yeah, it was crazy.
And man, I was disappointed anytime an issue skipped him, you know, and he wasn't in it.
Oh, yeah.
And so by the time the Spider-Man #1 came around, just the craze had happened. But I remember my comic shop, the owner told me about the Platinum Spider-Man, and he got a copy of it. And I was like, man, I don't want to fork over the kind of money you want for it at the time. Right. So I went to what was called the Collectors Expo in Austin. It was basically like a comic convention, and the location it was in was this. It wasn't called the Frank Irwin Center, but a lot of wrestling took place there too during the 80s, like with the sheep herders and all those dudes were wrestling there. Anyway,
yeah.
This guy had a Platinum Spider-Man at his table, and I really wanted it. And this guy walked up just as I was eyeing the thing. He says, how much you want for it? I'll give it to you right now. Like trying to beat me to it. And then we ended up in a bidding match at this guy's table over this Platinum Spider-Man. And I had like $400 in my pocket. I said, screw it. I'm just going to keep bidding up on this dude. So he's forced to pay more than what I got. And he did. He ended up paying like $400 or more for this Platinum Spider-Man. And then when he left, the guy at the table
got another one.
The guy at the table, he's like, dude, you made my weekend. Like, he goes, I've got one back at the shop in Dallas. I'll sell it to you. You know, I'll give it to you for like $150. You know?
Awesome.
And the crazy thing is,
you're the man inside.
The guy that sold it to me is the owner and publisher of Oni Press.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And when he was at his table, the guy sitting next to him was a colorist in comics for many years, went by Doc Martin, like the color dyes. He went by Dr. Martin. He colored comics for Marvel and all these companies. Well, he had colored the poster that of the Spider-Man #1 that McFarlane drew. And funny thing about that poster is it's the only image of that Spider-Man cover that shows his entire body completely, like the knees and everything. And my friend colored it, Dr. Martin.
Nice.
Nice. Well, that would be cool. Color McFarlane's most famous piece, pretty much.
He did it, like hand did it with airbrush and the dyes, and I have it still hanging on my wall over there. It's hung on my wall since I was a teenager in a frame.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you were not a Larson fan as much.
You know, when I was a kid, I really would get pissed off anytime Larson was on a book and McFarlane wasn't or whatever. But I did like the Sinister Six story that he drew. And looking back, it's still a great book. Like I appreciate Larson more now, and a lot of people rag on him, but in my opinion, he's one of the best, most dynamic layout artists in comics.
Oh yeah, it's very frenetic. And
I mean, you don't have to like the art style to appreciate how good of a storyteller he is.
Right.
I would put him and John Romita Jr. in like that same category of dynamic layouts. Let's see.
Yeah, I can see that.
All this is going. Lol, Larson, seriously? I don't think he's that great an artist, but I think he's a fantastic.
I liked the early Savage Dragon stuff. I liked some of his Spider-Man work. It felt like a real letdown compared to McFarlane, but I did like the early Savage Dragon for the energy. Like you said, it was the excitement of his layouts and action.
Yep, John Romita Jr. as well. Like, just
I could see how. Yeah, I could almost see like Larson taking a bit from Romita Jr. Even though they're kind of contemporaries, but like they both had kind of a real rough style too.
So in the late, well, I'd say in the very early 90s, I was assistant to several comic artists. So I was assistant to a guy named Arthur Nichols, who drew like the Magnus Robot Fighter books for Valiant.
Yeah.
And he was Neil Adams' assistant. And back around that time, I was inking backgrounds on a lot of different books. And I never got credit for it, but I learned a lot. Learned how to ink with a brush and crow quill, and
that's stuff I still don't know. I mean, I could do a brush, but like a crow quill, every time I mess with it, I get too frustrated and just
it
like
also
I want to. I just don't.
I think crow quills, in my opinion, aren't so great on paper that has a lot of tooth.
Yeah, naturally, you get caught on it, and
Yep.
Or rip it. That was my thing. Like, it's just like it's just ripping into this paper.
So I remember one time I I slept on a lot of couches in my in my late teens, early 20s, and learned from a lot of these different guys as an apprentice. And I remember when the first times I went and stayed with Arthur, he sat me down and he gave me a sheet of Bristol board, and he made just one particular line 2 or 3 times. He goes, "Now copy exactly what I did and fill up this entire piece of paper and come back to me when you're finished," you know. And I did, and he would study it, and he goes, nope, you're not doing it right. Do it like this, until I got it the way he wanted. And then he was like, all right, curves. I want you to copy this curve over and over and over again. So it was very much like the Karate Kid, paint the fence.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's going to get painted the fence next.
But it did work. Like, after a while, I really got used to the tool, and I knew how to handle the tool. So
Right.
next thing I know, he's let me ink buildings and mechanical stuff in the backgrounds, and I wasn't just filling in blacks.
Yeah.
Together one time we had both inked 2 comics in 3 days. Like, it was such a tight deadline, and
Wow.
we hopped in a car to the airport to the last FedEx shop that was open, and got there just as the door was about to be locked to get those
Candies.
2 books.
No, that exercise you're talking about, like and that's probably what I need to do is with the crow quills, do that same thing. But I've done that with different style pens and even with pencils, like practicing line work, just like you said, draw a line over and over again, practice your spacing and stuff. And that's why I got good with hatching, is just constantly. And that's what I do, like on scratch paper. 99% of my life is just spent doodling hatching.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I realized Scott Williams was using a brush and not a crow quill.
That
all
blows
that
my
time.
mind. Yeah.
That when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, I was deceived this whole time." I mean,
Well, then you go like, how?
yeah, how?
How the hell could you do that with a brush?
So, going back to the artist I was telling you about, Arthur Nichols, he's the guy. He's the guy that discovered Joe Quesada and got him his first job in comics.
That's a pretty big discovery.
Well, Arthur was living in Manhattan, and hold on a sec. All right, so he's living in Manhattan, and he went to a hardware store and to buy lighting, and then Joe Quesada was the guy selling him the lighting, and they got to talking. He said, "Oh, you work in comics? I would love to, draw comics or get in comics." Well, Arthur's like, "All right, well, come by the Valiant offices and bring your portfolio, and I'll sit down and look at it with you." Well, they put him to work right away coloring Valiant books, and while he was getting chops penciling, so they could coach him through it.
Yeah, Aldous says Plug used a brush for everything and was fast, and I get that. I think it's more that I was being impressed by Scott Williams is just the style of inking.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like a brush style. Whereas Plug, I can see that. Like Plug's style is, I'm like, yeah, that's amazing brush work. But similarly, I think Wrightson was kind of like that. Like a lot of that stuff that looked like a nib, a crow quill nib was brush.
I've got a high-res scan of his Frankenstein cover.
Oh man, that's so awesome. That was my favorite work of his.
Wrightson gave me a copy of his print. That's cool.
And we'll see how much I can mess it up here when I put the ink on it.
When I was a teenager, Wrightson gave me this print that's on my wall of the cover. But a friend of mine that in Houston, he's since passed away, he had the cover and 4 plates from the Frankenstein book. And you'd be surprised, the Frankenstein cover is about 3 11 by 17 boards together. It was one piece of paper. It was one piece of paper, but it wasn't
it was huge
cut up, but it was about that big.
Yeah, that makes sense though. Man, stuff was intense.
But everything else was, all the plates in the book were about 11 by 17. Oh, all this like Exo Manowar by Quesada.
Yeah.
Any Quesada cover, I'd buy it. I'd buy any Quesada stuff.
So Arthur
I didn't like his stuff with Palmiotti on like X Factor as much. Some people did. I didn't, but I didn't like the inks as much. That's probably mostly what it was.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's a little heavy-handed, but It's just.
Well, I don't mind heavy-handed. I think it was kind of like he did a little bit of rendering, like Mignola or something, like that real.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it fit, but I was also like a huge like Scott Williams homer and stuff, so I was like, that's how it should look.
But yeah, I got to hang out with Jimmy and Joe a few times when I was younger.
Nice.
When I turned 23, though, I went and started at a video game studio and got away from comics. It was too hard to break into comics then, and it's still hard to break into comics now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better off doing your own thing now. And be like, look at this.
Do my own thing.
Yeah, I agree. I like Mignola's earlier work a lot better. I love the Cosmic Odyssey a lot. But yeah, I knew Bill Willingham when I was a teenager, and that's how I ended up doing the story and Cool Story Bro. It was always a bucket list item for me.
Yeah.
To work with him. I'm thinking I'm gonna ditch that cloth collar on that character the next.
Really, I like.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I don't know.
This is crazy. So let me show you the skeleton guy I drew. I drew this guy a couple years ago. And the idea was, let's see if I can find him. I wanted to draw Scud without having to draw Scud, disposable assassin.
Right.
So I'm like, what if I make him a skeleton ninja guy? Right?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's different.
I think I've seen this one. Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, scared.
I like that he's got the toe feet.
Yeah, this is another one I did recently.
Oh, he's upside down.
Yeah.
I get it. I see. Yeah, that's cool. Dude, you should resurrect him.
Yeah, I started drawing him and working him again. I'm like, okay. But then I think I started drawing this guy, and if I want to draw something fun and wacky, I like this because I could do the noodly arm stuff with them.
Yeah, it makes me think of like Sonic the Hedgehog kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I always liked the Drywall, which was Scud's sidekick.
Oh,
and he had the arms that would come out with the gloved hands and like grab stuff. I was like, oh, that's so fun. Like that was me in high school, was reading Wizard magazine and like drawing Scud.
Scud's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
He did another comic that was a one shot after Scud. It was it looked like a beanbag or a pillow with nothing but zippers all over it, and it had 2 button eyes.
Yeah, that's Drywall.
Oh, that was Drywall?
Yeah, it's Drywall. Okay. Yeah, that's his sidekick. Yeah,
that's a neat one. He did one issue, one shot with it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like his origin of where he came from, because it was him. He was created. He's like a storage thing, and like inside him is like this vast, like unlimited storage space inside.
That's awesome. I get it. It's like a Mary Poppins bag.
And then he had a brother named Mess that was boxy in all drawers.
Right.
And
So
then
that
they create something else, like some other special, because the lady's working for the
Mhm.
military, creates mess, creates drywall, and then creates some other uber super thing that
right.
ends up eating mess. And so like drywall leaves and he teams up with Scud, and eventually the whole point what drywall wants to do is that Scud's supposed to help him get his brother back.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
it got pretty crazy. I got the whole like graphic novel, and he actually finished the Scud story.
oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty
I
neat.
have to go check it out then. I just remember that came out around the same time, like Cyber Frog, and then Invader Zim came out after that, and like Johann Vasquez, all his stuff.
Yeah, I
There
remember
was
him seeing Johnny the Homicidal Maniac,
yep,
like seeing
Mhm.
that She and like Bone. It
yep.
was like always like the indie stuff you'd see in like Wizard magazine.
Oh yeah.
I got an embarrassing Billy Tucci story from before She 1 came out. he I was working as an assistant, but also in a comic shop at around that time too. So anytime I left to go work, the owner of the comic shop he'd always had a job for me basically. But we went to this convention in Philadelphia, which, gosh, man, don't ever do a comic convention in Philadelphia. One of the worst experiences I ever had because of the unions that work at they won't let you carry your stuff to your table back and forth.
Oh,
Oh,
weird.
jeez.
So so I'm working at the table, and I got introduced to Billy Tucci at the time, and he was super excited and yada yada. Knew that I was working as an assistant inker, I forget, but he showed me the cover to She #1 with the swords, and I had one critique that I look back on and think, what a dumbass I was. It really didn't matter. But at the time, I was learning from all these inkers that you needed to use a heavier line to pop out objects off the page, and he was using such a fine line on those swords that that I told him, I was like, dude, you gotta pop these out more. But looking back on it, and I feel ashamed because I felt like looking back, I was such a cocky asshole kid, telling this guy Billy
Yeah.
Tucci, who ended up becoming like this mega star, after that. So
Yeah.
if I ever talk to Billy Tucci, which I'm sure will happen sometime in the near future, I will relay that story and apologize to him. And
No, what you should do is just keep critiquing him.
I should.
Like,
Just
remember me?
Just keep it going.
You thinking
Remember
up
me?
those lines yet?
I'm the asshole kid.
How can you tell the foreground from the background? The lines are the same. What the hell?
Yeah, we had that table. We had that table across from Now Comics and Mr. T's table.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. T Now Comics. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was there, I met him, and my gosh, that guy is the friendliest guy I'd ever met in my entire life.
Really? That's
yeah,
cool.
Mr. T was so
cool. That's great.
Mr. T was so cool. He like threw his arm around me like I was his long lost buddy, and made me feel like so awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, what a guy. That's cool.
What a guy.
Oh.
Yeah, my daughter didn't watch like A-Team growing up, but she watched Rocky 3 and she's like, I don't like that guy. I'm like, whatever. He was like my favorite when I was a kid. I had like Mr. Toys and like with interchangeable earrings and shit.
Yeah.
Aldous says he knows Billy, and it's disturbing.
It's disturbing.
I'm trying to figure out what that means, like my story or that he's disturbing.
Oh, Billy. Hey, what's up, Billy? Who's the hell is this dude with no mustache? Odin has been replaced by a pod person.
A pod person now.
I don't know if you've seen the shirt, Billy. I got the shirt came in.
Yeah, that looks great, man.
Yeah,
That's
the shirt
awesome.
came in. So I drew it and Billy colored it for me. So I'm like, cool. So it's on my web store right now.
Is it your character or is it a?
So it's Casey
mashup.
Jones as a rat.
Right.
Because we were drawing indie comic characters as a mouse that day. It was an art jam day.
Gotcha.
So we're like, oh, okay. So then we did and then Eric Hodson was here, so he drew
Right.
Witchblade, but looked like Gadget from Chip and Dale. And then what was the one that weren't you here, Odin? What was the one that you did?
That was like the one I missed. It was like the only time
was
I've
it?
been on. Yeah.
Billy says that quality is nice and it looks fresh.
Nice.
I'm assuming the shirt.
Yeah, the shirt.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it came out pretty good. I did the premium tee. They're a little slim fit though, so I probably would the double X, just to have some room. But they're unisex too, so usually anything you get unisex usually is a little bit tighter. But it's the premium, so it's the cotton polyester blend.
That made me all of a sudden think of the line out of Goonies.
Which one?
Where he's talking about the fraternities. He could tell they were like mobsters because he's wearing that polyester garbage or something. Like, look at this polyester suit. It's obviously
connected.
Yeah.
Oh man, the polyester became such a joke. Yeah.
If you watch Goonies though now, like on HBO Max, they cut out some of that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, the humor in it. Like they do not refer to. You remember when they get startled by Mrs. Fratelli and they go, a sir, a ma'am? Like
they cut that out. Are you kidding?
They cut it out.
Oh, boo.
Boo. Boo. That was an important part of the movie, man.
Billy says it's too bad unisex doesn't mean you like to have sex with college broads.
I thought it was meant you want to have sex on a unicycle.
That's true.
Which would be extreme talent.
Yeah, or dames with a unibrow.
Well, why'd you have to go there, man?
Hey, man. Somebody got to do the heavy lifting around here.
I like Odin's pose on the Black Phantom. It's like he's holding his gun and his gun.
Yeah. Well, it's because if I move this arm up, then all of a sudden I got to draw.
Yeah,
his cool. Overly rendered wang.
I'm just
like, I don't want to do that.
I like drawing crotch bulges. What's wrong with crotch bulges?
There's nothing wrong with that, I guess.
That was really, that was like the weirdest thing to draw for me as a kid. Like, I'm learning to draw superheroes and.
How to draw their crotch?
Yeah, properly draw the crotch because I used to get picked on. Why is
Marvel way?
There's a bulge there. Why are you drawing a bulge? Well,
like because he's not Ken.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Ken.
No, they do. Like all the, speaking of like Scott Williams, I'm picturing Jim Lee, Cyclops, and he was like a Ken doll.
Right.
Everybody had smooth.
Yeah, it's just perfectly smooth.
You look at Cyclops. You look at Psylocke. You're Psylocke. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
check.
Well,
and then all the lines across.
Yeah, you just render the shadow with some shape, but you're like, why is it shadowed like that? Like as if there's nothing there. Yeah, so you get these Liefeld-esque pouch things.
Yeah, pouches are cool.
They are.
Where is supposed to keep your stuff? Now it's like he was telling the future. Now all these army guys have tons of pouches now, all in the front.
Yep, who drew the pouch? Remember?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that will be empty because that's in his hand. There we go. This one.
Those.
Dude, this is so strange for me to watch you two guys
Just draw your character.
drawing my character.
I'm just waiting for you to give me some Tucci as criticisms. Like,
Hell
I don't
no.
know, man. That's the wrong.
You gotta start inking.
Nope.
Once you
I'm
start
not-
inking, man.
I'm not that critical anymore unless like you're really wanting me to eye it for you and kind of. But you guys are doing great, man.
Also, I'm sure you probably at your party, you're just like, oh, let me help. You know,
Yep.
that's probably where it came from. Let me help. Hey, man, you should do this.
Well, yeah, I don't think it was vindictive, but
No.
yeah, when you're like,
That's
coming in
kind of
like that.
I think I was so excited, and I was like, it was like a high meeting all these guys, because
Yeah.
when I was that age, I could tell you I've met almost everybody you can imagine, like, and hung out with so many of these dudes when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And like I've went and had dinner with Gil Kane and his wife more than once, you know.
Well, you know, you could brag about it. I would.
Yeah. Dude,
Fucking A, man.
Gil Kane, you know, I get tired of people ragging on Gil Kane because, you know, he was still in artwork and stuff. But he treated me like,
I didn't know anything about that.
yeah, you've not heard that?
No.
So Gil wasn't making a ton of money, and he was working in the Marvel offices.
Yeah.
And as soon as they photostated the artwork or whatever, he was going through and grabbing stacks of art and then turning around and selling them to art dealers.
Oh, original art.
Back
He
in
was just stealing whatever he could find and selling it.
Yep, back in the 80s.
He just sounds like a hustler to me.
He's Robin Hood.
Yeah.
And
Marvel wasn't gonna miss it.
there's a famous line of something he said. I can't remember the line, but he got busted at like San Diego Comic-Con by Jim Starlin, I think, or somebody, because they had just turned in the pages that week. He had already somebody came up to him to
It's like,
sign
wait, we got
the
to make a
pages.
change. He's like,
Somebody came up to him to sign the pages at that convention the week he had just turned those pages in, and he confronted Gil Kane about it. And I can't remember. There's like some famous line that Gil responded with, but anyway, it tears me up because I didn't find out about it until later, you know, after I'd been around him.
Yeah.
And it tears me up to think people will think ill of him, because he was actually really a kind person to me. So it's kind of, I have conflicting feelings.
Yeah. Well, and again, I'm like, he's kind of Robin Hood, you know, if it's like taking it for, you know, some artist is like, I'm taking this home, this is mine, and he goes in their house and steals it. That's like
back at around that time though, it might have been the late 70s, early 80s, but around that time, they weren't getting their artwork back, you know. And
yeah, so he's Robin Hood, you know, like issues with that, like that's Marvel kind of like holding on to something worth money that, you know, somebody else put the time into. And I get it, they own it and they sign whatever contracts or whatever, you know, but
Billy says, thank God for anime and their perfectly shaped and rendered crotchies.
Love their crotchies. Yep, I spent some time at Japanese anime studios off and on for 2 or 3 years in the early 2000s.
Ooh.
After getting laid off from a video game studio, a friend of mine called me up and she says, hey, there's this anime studio in Houston and they're looking for a concept artist to help develop new projects and start a new department there. So I went and I got hired, and I spent time back and forth for 3 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. They tried to keep me. It was a studio called DR Movie. They tried to keep me there in Seoul, and they're like, "You draw mech really well
Yeah.
for an American."
For an American. Did they add that for an American?
Yeah, they actually did. Like he said, for
That's
an American, you can draw a mech really well. And then when I got laid off from there, you probably heard this the other night, Jay, but when I got laid off from there, I had no insurance, had no idea what I was going to do. It was 2005, and my daughter, my wife was pregnant with my daughter, my youngest, and I had no idea where work was going to come from. But out of the blue, I got a phone call from this guy named Frank Parr. And he says, "Hey, my name's Frank Parr. I'm a producer at Marvel Lionsgate Films. Somebody stuck your name and website on a Post-it note on my monitor and 3 days ago, and I've been eyeing your work. How would you like to design Iron Man armor?"
Wow.
And that really kicked off my career in animation. So it was a movie called The Invincible Iron Man.
Well, now I'll check it out and see what
had a Joe Quesada cover.
I think I have that in the store. I might have to snatch it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's mine now. Ha ha ha.
I'll sign it whenever there's a comicsgate convention.
And everybody wants to do that Florida thing. They've been talking
about it all the time.
Yeah. Tampa Bay Con.
Curious if it'll ever happen.
It sounds really cool. I mean, PTP and all those guys are going to be there. Matt Barr. And
I'd like to do it. It's too late, though, to get a table.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't even mind just going to go, but like, I'm in Washington State, so it's weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
On the opposite. I could drive there.
The furthest distance from
the furthest
Tampa.
possible distance while staying in the lower 48. Yeah.
Might as well be on the sun.
Yeah. Might as well be on Mars.
I doubt Donald would go, but he lives in Tampa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is a lot of people in Florida. I do know that. So
yeah,
like, it kind of makes sense, and that's
because they're gonna do like they're gonna rent a room. I don't know, at the convention center or at the hotel next to the convention center. You kind of have like a comicsgate, like where they do Q&As and just a comicsgate hangout thing and stuff too, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Billy Baxo. God, I can't say your last name, Billy.
You say it like mine, Basco,
like Tabasco, or
Basco.
Oh, Basco. His is Basco.
Billy Basco, yeah.
Spelled like, it's kind of like Favre. You gotta like, mix up the letters.
Oh yeah, Billy. Thanks for following me. I'm glad to share your stuff. You all have good work.
Yeah, likewise.
I just wish I could buy everybody's stuff.
Yeah,
that's the hard part. It's kind of like it's a pro and con. Like there's so much good stuff, but it's like there's so much good stuff, but then at the same time, I don't want to be big. Come on, man. Hey, there's so much good stuff, but then it's like your wallet isn't deep enough. You're like, God,
yeah,
that's
cool. I forgot to mention though, he thought you were Canadian though, but anyway.
Who did?
Billy thought you, Odin, were Canadian.
He thought I was Canadian? I don't talk
to him. That's an insult.
That is an insult.
I said John Candy was cool. Jim Carrey was cool. Norm Macdonald was cool. So, it's not that bad.
Yeah. There's a few good Canadians.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald was.
Well, he probably thought that because James. So, yeah. The other half of my.
Might as well be. You're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the border, man.
Yeah. Like where I'm at, it's like I'm about an hour and a half. I'd be at the border. 2 hours.
Might as well. You're honorary Canadian.
That's right, eh?
Canadian by proxy.
I told Ethan, since they were denied from MegaCon, and PTP, they should just get a hotel right nearby and take their ballroom and turn it into a comicsgate convention at the same time.
With the exact same, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what they
if
were.
that thing like filled up and went crazy, it would be a great slap in the
That's
face.
what they were talking about. But I think he was saying that with the Tampa Bay Con, it's like you have like whatever the Tampa Bay Con is the up and coming con where like now the cool people are going. The other one's mainstream.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's like the other one's mainstream. It became mainstream. That's where you know what I mean. But if you want like the cool stuff, you know,
right.
like the cool kids hang out. You know what I mean? It's like Tampa Bay Con is becoming that con. You know.
Hmm.
So he's like, you don't want to get their foot in the door now, and then keep doing maybe CG stuff there and stuff like that. Because the other one came too mainstream. It's like you're going to San Diego or something. You're like, okay, all the normies are there and shit. Everybody's dressing up, and it's like, but you got the cool, like, oh man, hey, you know about this con? Cool, man. And that's like, you know, the what's still underground and kind of neat, you know.
Yep. I got so burned out. Like I only was going to conventions mainly to just be social and sell my sketchbooks and my books.
Yeah.
But the whole print thing got like so far out of hand, man. Like nobody's selling comics anymore. They got these massive walls of prints and so I'm like, all right, I'll sell prints. And I was making $20 a piece on them. Then you get these guys come in, they're like, get 5 of them for $10, and their walls are touching the ceiling almost.
Yeah.
With all their prints. And I'm like, I can't compete against that. Like, if you're gonna undercut everybody and make it cheapen it all.
Right.
So I just decided I'm gonna go back to focusing on selling my comic.
Yeah, it's I think that's the thing where conventions at some point we kind of know, you can't really pinpoint exactly, but it became less about comic books for sure.
I
And
miss
a lot less comic book fans.
Yep, that's what I
A lot
miss
of people.
about. I miss comic conventions in the 80s, early 90s.
Yeah,
Because it was all about, like, nobody in art. You didn't sit in Artist Alley unless you had a comic. That
seems to make sense, right?
Yep. And yeah, I loved going and buying indie books. That's why I would go to San Diego Comic-Con for all the time. I'd go buy everybody's homemade comics and
just see what all these crazy weirdos are making, that aren't working in the industry,
because if you were lucky, you would find gems, and
and it would be wild, it wouldn't be like what you're used to. I think that was the thing Image for most in my life was that it opened the door to me, like, there's world beyond Marvel and DC,
Yeah.
I mean, love or hate Rob Liefeld, he changed a lot of stuff back then. Like
I have a love-hate. That's how you could love or hate him, and I'm like, that's kind of both.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan when I was a kid, though.
His X-Force stuff, I loved it. I feel like after that, it kind of was, but now I love his podcast. His podcast is so good.
Personality-wise, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's like a freaking historian, dude. And I was like, dude, I don't know if anybody loves loves comics as much as Rob Liefeld does, dude.
He does.
Because he like remembers everything, and he has like he kept everything, and he has like all these comics journals. I was listening to the one where he was talking about Frank Miller today and reading the interview and stuff, and it's like, dude, he's like, man, his enthusiasm for comics is just unparalleled.
I built and maintained his website around 2008, 2009.
Oh, nice. Yeah, just listen to him talk about comics. Gets you excited about comics again.
Yeah.
True.
He's got
a good
that.
coach, like pump you up kind of person.
Yeah.
Is a good ambassador for comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Even
it was
though
an
I'm look-
interesting dichotomy, him and McFarlane. Well, quad economy. Like it was like all those personalities were, you know, Jim Lee was such a weird or different personality from Todd and Rob. And
I don't understand Jim Lee now. I just
which is weird. He always seemed like very relatable at one time.
you would think, like, since he's kind of the poster child of DC, like their mascot, he'd be more of a figurehead than he is, but he's not.
maybe his hands are tied.
Or maybe he's
I don't know.
embarrassed.
Yeah, maybe we don't know.
I always thought he was embarrassed. Like he kind of plays the game like, oh, I'm all about this stuff too, and then I think that deep down he's kind of embarrassed. So that's my guess. So that's my hope.
All this says Rob's such a putz. I agree.
I still love the guy.
He owes me money.
He owes me money.
There's that.
You better pay up, Rob. We're gonna come break your legs.
Used to like Rob, then he owed me money.
He owe me money.
I've not seen the Deadpool movies.
I mean, they're funny, but other than that, like to me, Deadpool was like the first appearances where he's quite different than what he's become. And
yeah, the first one's good. Second one is like, I feel like they wasted Cable.
Billy Tabasco says Rob will most likely be our next Stan Lee for the next few decades. He's excited to talk with everyone about comics, and just like Stan, whether you love or hate him, you gotta love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Aldous says, in the fashion of hyping himself up for doing little, absolutely, he's this generation Stanley.
Let me tell you, true believers, Spider-Man.
I've
met true believers.
I've met Stanley about 3 times.
Yeah.
Yep. First time I met him really wasn't meeting him so much, but I was at a convention in Austin and Stanley was the main guest and everybody got like 1 or 2 tickets that they could get autographs, used to get autographs from Stan Lee.
Yeah.
And that was it. So the end of the convention is starting to wind down. And I had this ratty, amazing Spider-Man #1 that I was selling at the table. I mean, the cover was practically sliding off the book, but I was asking $100 for it. And this guy was standing there. He's like, hemming and hawing. He goes, I'm not really sure I want to buy this book. I said, listen, I tell you what, I've got 1 ticket to go get an autograph from Stanley. If I go get it signed, will you buy it? Guy's like, absolutely. So got in line, and they cut off the line right behind me.
Ooh.
And I managed to get the book signed and sold. That was the first time I met him. Second time I met him was really interesting. I guess I can't remember what year it was, but Image was like really big at the time, and I was so broke. I was so freaking broke, and I managed to make it to San Diego Comic-Con, and I didn't have a room to sleep in, basically, but people were letting me crash out on floors every night, and I'm sitting on the steps outside Planet Hollywood in San Diego, and nobody's around. I'm just kind of moping, and I hear this voice just walk up, and he's like, "Hey, what you doing out here? You know, like, how are you doing?" It's like Stan Lee, you know.
Just like Mallrats, all this.
It was exactly my Mallrats moment with Stan Lee, and I got to spend like 20 minutes or so talking with Stan Lee outside of Planet Hollywood.
Well, he was bumming at that time. The Image was booming. He was like, fuck,
yeah,
I'm gonna go hang out with the homeless people if I
It make me feel better.
No, I thought you were gonna say that you slept on his couch, which would be really awesome.
It,
Yeah,
it turned out
couch.
it turned out really cool though, because I remember one night ending up at a bar with you know, all the New York guys like Palmiotti and Casada and
Yeah, Ramita.
and there's this guy Mark Nelson. There's two Mark Nelsons that worked in comics. This is not the Mark Nelson that drew the Alien comic, although he lives here locally in town. This is a different Mark Nelson. But I was so broke. Those guys were buying me beers, and I didn't have money to get a cab to go to the room out of town to stay in. And Mark Nelson gave me a 20 just so I could get where I needed to go. Like, dude, I never forgot that. Like I even talked to him about a year ago or so. I said, dude, I'm going to give you that 20 in person someday. Like,
oh, that's cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yep. He's another guy that he and Dennis Cohen gave me money one time. I was so broke. My wife called. I was pitching the Black Phantom at BET, and I was broke going around pitching this project. And my wife told me that the electricity was shut off, and I didn't have the money at the time to pay the bill. And Dennis Cohen, he's known for drawing Moon Knight and Luke Cage and Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
He pulls $200 out of his pocket and hands it to me. Like, and man, I was happy and cried at the same time. I was just crying.
Yeah, that kind of generosity is.
Yep.
They'll get you. Well, just what you needed at the time, right?
I'm spilling all the stories just talking. So
no.
Well, you got these.
And everybody's missing out on it. You know, everybody's missing out. They're
you want to hear my
streams.
Gil Kane story, or you guys want to talk about something?
Dude, I could tell you so many people I met. So let's see, Aldous. Oh, Boob Dan.
Yeah. Look at that. Boob Dan, when he was working as a tow truck driver, has picked up Rob twice on the side of the road. Rob recognized him as a fellow comic artist.
Yes.
Remember that time Rob completely ruined Hawk and Dove? Comic fans remember.
Which time, though? Which time is he referring to? The first time or the second time? Because a few years ago, he drew Hawk and Dove again, like 6 issues.
That was like his first big break, wasn't it?
Yep. There was a story behind that, though. The guy inking him kept redrawing his stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And correcting all his anatomy and that.
Oh, that makes sense.
He's like, the crotch is supposed to be off-centered.
He's like, they're supposed to be Ken dolls, you idiot.
I think now he's like, I'm Rob Liefeld. He's just like, bip, 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 bip. But I could tell sometimes, and this is, you know, I mean, come on. You know, I'm no fucking Rob Liefeld, but Jesus, like, I'm looking at he posted a picture with Cable and Deadpool, and you're looking at Cable, you're like, cool. I'm like, where's his abs? And like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like his abs are gone, and then his crotch is like over here.
Yeah,
it's like it should be like this, and then like the leg, you would see the side of the leg, but the leg is like totally off to the left of the picture, and I'm just like, what? I should pull it up.
There's a meme that I saw. It was a comic book shop guy sitting there, and he's holding a book, and it just says, "Rob Liefeld is a modern day Picasso."
Aldous says, "Yes, shocking. No one but Rob. Comic characters need feet."
Yeah, feet are overrated.
Maybe it's his cat. Maybe
he, believe it or not, he's very self-conscious about all of that. He doesn't talk about it, but he's also very self-conscious about that website, the 50 worst Rob Liefeld drawings ever made.
Oh, geez.
Well, wouldn't you be? I mean,
I would. Yeah, I would.
Yep. Yeah.
But he also kind of took the piss out of himself. He drew the Pouch Man and all that.
Yep. I think he finally came to terms with it, but
well, and it's like if you're not going to change your style, then you have to come to terms with it.
So maybe it's me, but this crotch seems so weird.
Yeah, that
like
arm's really weird.
It's not centered.
Well, I mean, that's that looks like shit.
I'm surprised his chest didn't come out to like, you know what I mean? I'm surprised they didn't give him the giant chest. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's like the bicep his bicep is kind of weird. But then also this crotch is like not lined up. Like it should be centered here. And yeah, this just drives me crazy.
And Aldous said, how did they manage to pare it down to only 50? But for whatever reason, that website stays at the top of the search engine for Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, he gets to be a punching bag, but I mean, he laughed all the way to the bank. I'll give him that.
He did. Yeah.
Yep.
Sure did.
I knew Marat Michaels real well since then. I've known him for years.
Yeah.
And then I've met and hung out around Fraga. He won't ever remember it, but it was a few times I hung around him. I remember sitting and watching him draw a Black Flag page or cover one time. Aldous said something. Did he? He bowed out of Image for ownership for $0. I don't know.
Well,
I'd
there's
heard
probably money to be made beyond just the Image ownership.
I heard he had a lot of money and he blew a lot of money. So
I wouldn't doubt that. I don't know what that Levi's ad pay.
I mean, he did wreck a new Corvette, I believe, or a Porsche. Can't remember which. Anyway,
probably wasn't a clutch.
I have my issues. I'll put it right here. I have my issues with Rob personally, but there's part of me that still respects him.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, it's a love-hate thing for me, and
yep,
I don't have a whole lot of reason to hate him. It's just like art-wise, sometimes I'm like that.
The hell, man!
He got me upset with comics in a lot of ways too.
Oh yeah.
Because as a kid, you don't know anything, and I was in there reading it, like just soaking it up. I'm like, I love this.
I bet anything that he would be so close to being a CG guy.
Oh, I think that's probably why I still kind of. It's kind of like what JBot was saying. You like hear him talking, you're like, it seems cool enough, you know.
There's guys that are popping up that really are starting to surprise me that align with CG, but they're not coming out of the shadows, you know.
Right.
But
and I think someday that hopefully it's just kind of like there's no shadows, there's no labels. It's just everybody doing what they want to do, you know.
There really shouldn't be any worry about it, because I think a lot of that stuff, people are getting over a lot of things. They can't argue against comics gators anymore.
Well, you can't argue for mainstream comics very well. I mean, there's few people that try, and you know, and there's a few straggling things that aren't absolutely dog shit, but it's getting harder and harder to maintain that.
Yeah,
I didn't give his legs straps. Shit.
So how? They hold the gun and the dagger on the sides of his thighs. That's what those straps are. So
straps.
any guesses as to who Wandering Comicsgate King is?
Oh, I'm guessing you know then, because I
don't think he's in America.
I kind of wonder if that's a ploy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have 3 guesses, and I'm going to say Doug Mankey, Simon Bisley, and then Gerard Way.
Yeah. I don't think I follow them enough to have a guess. Like I'm aware of the name, the persona.
I find it interesting, but apparently he's a multi Eisner winning artist writer.
Yeah.
Well, that's the old joke. That's straight money in the bank, right? Eisner.
No, it makes a good paperweight. That award.
Yeah, it was sarcasm.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
Money in the bank.
Well, I mean, the bank comics or make you a millionaire, kid.
Yeah, wasn't that the Jack Kirby quote?
Yep.
Comics will make you a millionaire, kid.
Make you rich.
The hell did that was
I mean, back in the early 90s, guys were making like insane page rates back in that era.
That is true.
Like,
there was a short time where that was kind of a true statement. Oh.
Everybody getting Hollywood deals, and I honestly, having worked in film and television, don't make any Hollywood deals.
Unless you're just like, here it is,
like,
whatever. I'll move on to my next thing.
Don't make it. Don't make that your pursuit. If you're making comics for that,
well, that should never be the pursuit.
Yeah.
Like I know guys that have pitched and sold shows, and all it really did was got them some notoriety, a little bit bigger paycheck, but they lose all rights to what they created.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Don't ever sell your baby. Like if you make another idea and you're like, it would be cool, and I'm not attached to it, and somebody offers you a deal, then hey, why not?
Unless you're playing the game and be like, oh, that'll be a good series for a movie.
But don't sell your baby. You'll lose all your.
Yep.
They'll take it.
Point.
They'll make it all
cool.
jacked up.
The only way you're going to get any good deal is if you've done something that's already popular, and they have to pay for it. Because I knew, so well, I'm not even going to say his name, but there's a guy that's got a famous Scholastic graphic novel series out right now. But back in about 20 years ago, he'd sold the rights to a comic strip, webcomic he was doing to Disney for $100,000. And I thought, oh man, that's really awesome. Yeah, it's paid out over 2 years like a paycheck.
Yeah.
They don't give it to you all in one lump sum.
They don't just drive a dump truck full of money up to your house.
No, they pay it out as little as possible.
For as long as possible, right?
Yep.
I know that mouse got some money. Make up with the payment.
Yep. A friend of mine just sold a pitch, and now he's a showrunner on this cartoon at Disney Animation. And first thing I thought of was like, oh, great, you're losing what you spent the last 4 years developing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a point where you're like, what's more important, you know? Like, but again, if they're just paying out over time, but still, you know, if you got kids, you're like, hey, I made this property, and now we sold it. You know, you were gonna do anything with it.
Yeah.
So I'm friends with the guys and the head producer of Phineas and Ferb. They were the last guys at Disney to make any big giant money off of a show property like Phineas and Ferb. And because they signed a good deal. Well, the reason the show was canceled was because they were making too much money
Oh,
off the
okay.
off the licensing. But here's a crazy thing: the shows on Disney are tanking so bad that they've brought them back to renew Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, they're like, let's make some money again.
Yeah, we need to generate shows that make money.
That's dumb.
Yep. Phineas and Ferb are great, says Aldous. Yep, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I like it. It's the perfect concept. It's kids making stuff in their backyard, in the summer,
Yeah.
It's like building that tree house.
I'm gonna go way faster now. Oh my god.
Don't rush. Don't rush it. This is like wine. You gotta let it
Sometimes I
air.
like it better when I rush it though.
You gotta air it out a little.
Oh, what? Well, part of me, I'm like, I want to get it done before we wrap up, and then I'm like, I don't know, that's probably not going to happen. But nonetheless, when it is done, I will share it out.
Hold on, I gotta ask my dog here. Do you need to go outside? I got a black lab.
Oh, nice.
Do you need to go out?
Good dogs.
What's the deal? Yeah. You need to go outside? You just need love and attention.
I haven't had a dog in a long time. I miss doggies. They're good friends.
Yeah. She's my bud. She's my car riding dog. She's only
Where I
2 years
live
old.
now, I rent this house, and I have a great deal on the place, but that was like the one stipulation. She's like, no pets. I'm like,
Oh man.
Yeah, but I'm gone a lot too, so poor thing would have to like be able to come to work with me or something.
That's right. You drive trucks?
No, I don't drive trucks.
No, what do you do?
I'm a structural packaging design. So I design. It's a glorified origami.
No, that's cool. My dad was an engineer, and he when people ask him what he did, he said, "I take 20 pounds worth of shit and put it in a 5-pound box."
I do that plenty of times too, and then I make sure the box is strong enough to hold 20 pounds.
Yep.
Even though it's only meant to hold 5. But yeah, it's not bad. It's like it's always different stuff. I mean, everything from industrial to displays and retail, and it's not bad. It pays the bills.
Yep. It's honest work.
It's honest work. When I'm doing it, it's honest work.
Who knows what the other guy's doing, right?
The competition, though, I think they're shady as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Fuck those guys.
It's interesting seeing the way you're doing it, Odin. You're like doing real anatomy. Like,
yeah, I can't help myself.
no, it's cool. Like I do anatomy, but I do it mainly structurally, not like literally.
Right. Well, I always go if it's like superhero costume and it's tight fitting. I'm like, I'm gonna make it suck to their skin like they're naked.
I dig it. I dig it. Like, and his mask kind of makes me think of like black metal, like.
Oh yeah, like corpse paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was doing it, I was like, I don't think I'm ever gonna get your face
why I was saying it's like Jay's really close to the design, the way I draw it. I dig it. But I like seeing everybody doing their take on it. It's interesting.
I bet.
But when I draw the masks, even I think to myself, people can't draw this. Like I'm the only one that can.
Well, I think your style lends, like JBot's style is much more similar.
Right. He could. Yeah, he's getting pretty close to it.
Yeah. I looked at his. I was like, oh man, you're like.
Yeah, it's coming out pretty good. I would like to.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Push the dynamic pose more, but usually the first drawing I do of a character, usually it's very vanilla.
Yeah, he's on a lamppost. I like that. I like that though. I like he's crushing it. I think that's Horntoad and Odin's though, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Two characters.
Yeah, I got him back here. It's kind of hard to see. It's a pencil, but yeah, I'm really excited when I get to that part. That's why I was like, I want to rush because I want to draw him.
Yeah,
but he's in the background.
It's not really an original name, but it's or unique, I should say.
Well, but conceptually, like that was what I was thinking. An anthropomorphic horned frog is pretty fucking cool. Yeah,
that would be one I would be real excited to have a statue or an action figure made.
Right.
I used to do a lot of 3D modeling and stuff a long time ago, but I got so burned out on it. It was not as fun as drawing to me.
Yeah, I could see I don't think I would like it as much.
Yeah, I did. I took a game design for like a semester or two.
I was the guy. Oh, go ahead.
And I was like, I did it when when Mighty Number 9 was announced. So that was like my 3D model. I did Mighty Number 9.
Right.
This game's gonna be great. And then I was like, and then we did it, and I was like, this thing sucks. Like, I mean, like in terms of like the 3D modeling and like, I was like, I'm not having fun at all. Forget that. I just kind of did it on just to try it, because I was working at the family business, which was air ventilation cleaning at the time.
Oh yeah.
And my dad's like, if you want to take some art classes and stuff, because my dad would draw and paint and stuff like that too, and he always did. He never went to school for it, but he always loved it and enjoyed it and stuff. So he's like, if you want to take some classes and on the company's dime, go for it. So I was like, well, let me try some game development stuff. And I was like, yeah, this sucks. I was the oldest guy in the class, I'm like 35, like, hey man, what's going on, kids? What's up, kids?
I'm the cool dude.
Yeah, they're like, I'm doing it on, World of Warcraft, or we're doing it on whatever. It probably was longer than 5 years ago. And then I'm like, all right, man, my report's on Galaga.
Yeah, they don't even know what that is.
We're gonna be talking about Dig Dug, or Pac-Man,
Oh, I love Dig Dug.
Yeah. Yeah, plus they were young kids, so they were pretty cool. A bunch of weebs, they were pretty cringe.
When I started in games, they paid royalties.
Oh wow! What were you doing?
I was doing a lot of art, like
they paid royalties to the artists, like concept art, or
all of it, like everybody, like on Turok Dinosaur Hunter, which was one of our games. The texture artist and on the team was the lowest paid royalty check on the team, but he made his first royalty check was $30,000.
Holy shit!
And guy was like in his early 20s.
Are you talking the N64 Turok?
Yep.
Wow.
So
he worked on NBA Jam.
I worked at that studio. Mm-hmm. And they let's see. I worked on NFL Quarterback Club, the very first 3D one that all the magazines said was a lie, that it was impossible to do a 3D football game on the N64.
Huh.
IGN was the big accuser of us. They called us liars, and EA was calling us liars.
Well,
And sure enough,
you would.
E3 comes around. Here's our 3D football game, and they lost their shit, and yeah, those guys ended up getting fired. And now a lot of the guys that worked on those football games, some of them I know, they're still over there at Tiburon at EA, still working on Madden.
Oh, yeah, that'd have to be horrible.
Do what?
I said that would have to be horrible. That franchise is a joke.
Yeah, it's like, well, now what can you do to update it anymore? Like the stats. I mean, that's the problem with video games. The more realistic they get, the less, in my opinion, the less fun they are, like, or unique looking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you get
so far that it's not good.
Battlefront and all the war games, you can't tell them apart unless there's a logo on it.
Yeah.
Right over that dark spot.
That's why Fortnite's so popular, because it's a little cartoony, and fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to keep that. It's kind of, I say the same thing about comic books too. It's like, you'll see some of them. I was just talking to my buddy about this. Like, it looks like clip art. It looks pretty realistic, but it's lifeless.
Yeah.
Well, it all kind of kicked off. Like, even Ethan draws at a hybrid of, I wouldn't say his stuff's bad. I like his work a lot. I think it's awesome. But what I'm getting at is he's like a hybrid of George Perez and Neil Adams in a way.
Yeah, I can see that.
But J.G. Jones drew that first Black Widow miniseries in the late 90s, the mid to late 90s. Yeah. And that's when the art styles all started going that direction.
Realistic.
Yeah. Now it's kind of going a different direction. Now it's looking like that Jimenez guy and all those South American guys drawing the DC books now. Everybody's kind of going that direction. They're going more like a Sean Murphy kind of thing,
Yeah, I see that gaining popularity, and maybe, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of the old stuff, so like John Buscema is one of my favorites, and he was had a very cartoony style, but it works well.
I love Buscema. My favorite guys though were always like Art Adams and
Art Adams is amazing.
He was like my main favorite. I still love his stuff.
I like Neil too.
Neil Adams?
Yeah.
Yep, I knew Neil because I was second generation assistant to him. But I don't like drawing like that though. I like drawing a little more cartoony.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I love Chris Baccello. I like the way he lays out pages.
What did he do?
Oh, let's see. He's done a bunch of Spider-Man, Deadpool. He did the first issue of Moon Knight that came out of this newer series. He was known for drawing Generation X before Joe Mad.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Very like black, heavy black and stuff.
It's kind of Arthur Adamsy, but his page layouts, he did a self-published book through Image called Steampunk. But his layouts are all really unique and different. but I've gotten to a point now. It's like I've tried mimicking a lot of those guys, but then you know how it is. You'll look at somebody and then you get frustrated with yourself because you can't draw like them, and you hate yourself. You hate yourself. You hate your own art, and now I think I'm just kind of past that, and I'm just gonna draw the best as myself that I can.
Always the way to go, and that's how you make yourself unique and timeless. And like, you know, we're sitting here talking about Rob Liefeld, and you're like, again, it's like love him or hate him, but he left his stamp with a style. You know, like it's like,
yep,
he had a style, and it was his. And
I'm tired of beating myself up over it. Like I can't worry because I'm never gonna be my favorite comic artist. So
no, but you might be somebody else's someday, you know.
Right. And it totally freaks me out when people compliment me. You know?
Oh yeah.
Because it's just like it's so weird, but okay. I'm glad you like my stuff.
Who the hell am I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm nobody.
Yeah, I know that. I hate that. I mean, I love it and I hate it, you know, that kind of thing. You're like,
good night.
It's nice to hear, but you also you think they're missing out, or you haven't seen all of it. You don't know.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's fun to study what people do and maybe pick up certain things that they do and incorporate it if you can into your work. But
yeah, and I don't think we can help that actually to a certain point.
Like there's stuff that Ethan draws that I'm like, man, I wish I could do it like that. But
oh sure, yeah, plenty of things. I'm like,
I love the way J. Scott Campbell draws shapes.
Like just shapes, or
yeah, just the way he shapes figures and bodies.
Yeah, he's got a fluidity.
Yeah, there's a flow to it.
Yeah, that is true. And I was honestly never a big J. Scott Campbell fan. Like I like it, but
right,
it wasn't my cup of tea, I guess. But
no,
I know he's like super talented, and like his women always look great, but they kind of always look the same.
Yeah, I think more so now that he's just doing covers. That guy makes insane money at conventions just as an appearance fees.
I bet.
Like there's a guy that I don't know how much you guys watch comicsgate Kings and stuff, but there's a guy that puts on conventions here in Texas that I've known for years. And he gets on there and gives EVS a hard time because it's really weird. Like he's very liberal, but yeah, he comes and watches Comicsgate Kings all the time and busts Ethan's nuts, and Ethan knows him too. And it's kind of like, why are you busting my nuts? We're friends in person. Like, anyway, I forget where I was going with this story. Shoot.
Jake Scott Campbell.
Oh, right.
Money
so he told me that J. Scott Campbell's appearance fee is $30,000.
Jesus,
must be nice. You could be a millionaire in comics, people.
I just think that's amazing. Really, I mean, good for him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I remember when he was nobody. You know. Like when Gen X first came out, or Gen 13 or whatever.
Yep. I've gone back and looked at Gen 13, and they're not really as great as I thought they were back then. But
it was just different. It had a certain life to it that was different.
Right. It's funny too because I've gone back and I went and looked at like designs I drew for the Black Phantom from just a few years ago to what I drew on the model that you guys are looking at.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow, I've really evolved.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was talking about it earlier with the book I just made, you know, 88 pages. It's like but this is the first book I ever made. So it's
Right.
like you're gonna watch an evolution for sure.
I bet.
Now the nice thing is I do feel like I have a style that's mine, and
Yep.
so even though it evolves, it's like it always looks like me.
Yep. I've heard, you'll hear guys go, they'll say, "Oh, I'm looking for my style." Well, stop looking for it, because
Just draw all the time. You'll
just
find
draw. It happens on its own. It's like signing your name on a check over and over and over again. Eventually that signature evolves on its own. The same thing with drawing. It's like your signature.
No, I think that's it. Like you really do, and I know I did. You start by aping artists you like, that's natural. But the next step is like it just starts shaping and morphing into, and it starts pull from this artist, pull from that artist, and then before you know it, you're like, okay, I got my own legs now. I'm gonna do my own thing.
I've had people tell me this. They tell me they could look at my art and they could tell it's mine. They could tell I drew it.
Right. That's
like
that's
when I draw something.
Yeah.
And then I think, are you kidding me? Like, how are you able to tell? I look at it all the time. There's no way I can
I
see
can't
that
pick it out in the
difference.
lineup.
Yeah, like what is it that makes it so different that you can notice it?
Yeah, no, I've heard similar things, and it's like, and I've said similar things to people, and it's I think that's a good compliment that
Yep.
you have a unique style. And it was again like talking about J. Scott Campbell. It's like I could point that out, and
Yep.
whether it's my cup of tea or not, I know it's a lot of people's, and I still appreciate it for its merit.
Yeah. I try to go. I've been doing a lot of going back and looking at a lot of the stuff that lit a fire under me when I was younger, and I go
Right.
back and read those books. I mean, I don't have all my copies out, but I've got look, I got 3 copies of Pit number 1 right here. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
I've got 2, so yeah, maybe yeah, and those were bought in the moment at the time, But
yeah,
that was my favorite. Keon was my favorite. Still kind of is.
I have my copies I bought then, but now I go to comic shops and I buy up all the Pit number 1s now, just for the hell of it.
Just keep them out of some other idiot's hands.
Yep. Well, that, and I keep thinking that Pit collected edition is going to drop, and that Pit number 1 that he's going to do is going to drop
skyrocket here soon. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that Youngblood number 4, man.
Do what?
Youngblood number 4.
Oh yeah.
The first appearance of Pit.
Yeah.
Yep, that was raw. Thank you, Billy. I'm enjoying seeing it too. I'm like watching these guys draw my character, because it's kind of helping me too, because it's kind of making me think, what could I change about the way I draw it that can make it better? Like, what are you guys not or doing?
Right.
Yep.
No, I would be the same way if somebody was trying. So I have Fightin. He's my narrator because my book's an anthology book. But as other renditions came back, I'm like, oh yeah, never thought of it that way. JBot was drawing fan art for me at one time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what happened to that, but
I never finished it.
He lost interest.
Volume
I'm
2.
just kidding.
Pretty much.
Volume 2, I'll do a nice one. I was like, eh. Plus, that was the character I kind of was heavy into at the time, and I haven't messed around with since. So I have to do something cooler.
Billy told Jason,
you'll get the book here soon. That might spark you.
Yeah.
Billy told Jason to get in here and draw my character.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Have you
I know,
seen
he
my
was
character?
streaming. I was like, what the hell, man? I sent you the link.
Yep. I need to do another issue of Kid Squid.
Yeah, I gotta see that. I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen
Kid
Kid
Squid.
Squid?
I've
No.
seen the character, but I gotta see the book. I gotta get the book.
Well, it'll be with the campaign. I have a limited run of 100 signed and numbered for sale in my shop, and then I have an ash can, but I've not done an actual print run. And Hinge says Billy Baxco, I'm waiting on a call in a few minutes. I don't know what that.
He's big time in us, Odin. He's big
Yeah.
time in us.
He's big time. Well, he jumped in the chat at least. Yeah.
What's up, dog? Do you need to go outside? What's your deal? Go tell
Good to
mom.
see you, Jason, by the way. I keep missing topic lists because there's always. Last night I was big time in him last night, but but they keep playing movies at my theater that I want to go see.
All right, hold on a sec. I think my dog's telling me because she's standing up here, giving me the stink eye. Like,
Yeah, Timmy fell in the well.
I need to let her out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, then we kicked you from the DM group, so it's okay.
Well, that's probably why.
Don't like that.
That dog is such a turd.
Change his mind.
No, well, she's got this thing where my wife will have just let her back in, and then she comes up to me like, "Hey, I need to go out."
Oh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's kind of like what kids do too.
So, so I'll go run down the
Right
stairs.
back.
I'll go run down the stairs to let her out, and my wife says, "I just let her in." I'm like, "What?" Odin, we kicked you from the DM group, so it's okay.
Mm.
And he says, "I'm happy to find a stream where someone reads the chat."
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really important to read the chat. I mean,
It is.
because, you know, people want to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
They want to be seen. So
I'm just not used to people watching my streams.
I don't even know how many people are in this thing.
I have no idea either. Where is it at? 3. We got three viewers supposedly.
Nice.
Thank you, all 3 of you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, all 3 of you dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You peoples.
Fine folks.
This is as good as it gets.
The awesome 3.
Yep.
Is what
See,
we
I
got.
keep. That's how I feel about how well my campaign's gonna go. I'm gonna sell 3 copies.
Those lucky 3 people. Yep.
And then I'm gonna have to tell my wife, so like, "Well, honey, your husband's a failure. Like, I'm gonna have to go back to work for Warner Brothers."
Nah, should be like, you made 3 people happy. you rock.
Yep. Now we got to eat ramen for dinner, but you know,
Made
it's
the
okay.
world a better place. Yeah.
Yep.
Some Mother Teresa kind of move.
We gotta go back to the olden days when we were first married, babe.
Yeah, that's what women love hearing.
Staying at your mom's house.
Thank goodness we've never ever lived at our parents. Well, in that regard, I mean,
Yeah,
we got engaged, and then we stayed with I stayed with her parents for about 2 years so we could save up for a house.
Unhinged says your campaign will be solid, dude. It will do well. Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I believe you.
I greatly appreciate the enthusiasm. I'm very conscientious about the book because it's so simple. It's not like a deep a deep masterpiece, but
Sometimes that's what people want. I know.
That's what I want.
Oftentimes, that's all I want. Yeah.
That's what I want.
yeah,
I want some like adventures, you know.
you're just getting a good old action adventure, simple story is what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's not anything fancy as far as story, but it's going to be pretty. You know, it'll be fun to look at. And
I think people just want solid. They just want solid.
I really think, I honestly think my writing in Kid Squid is a lot better, but that's why I'm going back and reworking my dialogue and making sure it's going to be as good. But yeah, I'm very nervous about all of it.
I don't think you can help that. Probably better to be nervous than really confident, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with Jason. I think it's going to just do pretty well, man. I mean, I don't know what the expectation is, but like,
well, I'll be happy if, I don't know. I have a number in mind, but I guarantee you it's very low number figure. You know, but
right, but then you go, but you sound like me where you're like, set the bar low so you feel good when you hit it.
There's some people have
pleasantly
said,
surprised when it goes beyond.
I've heard a few people go, "Oh, 6 figures." I'm like, no way, shut the fuck up. There's just no.
Don't jinx me, you know.
Yeah, like they're
like,
yeah. It's just not.
Thanks for the
possible.
confidence.
Like, yeah, what your expectation is way higher than mine. Like, I just want people to like my stuff and for it to grow, really.
Right. That much, I think that's a goal I think you'll attain for sure.
Yeah. And these are all turning out excellent, man.
Well, thank you, sir.
I really dig it. I like both of yours. I may have to figure out, like, just do some early fan art in the back of the book.
Well, again, I think you got a fun character.
Yeah.
The look is cool. The name is cool. So I think people would be excited to do.
Right.
I could see them on T-shirts or on posters or on like action figures, definitely for sure. You know, and that's how you know you got a good little thing. Like, oh, I could totally see this dude as a toy, man.
Yeah.
Or a cartoon, or all of it. You know, it's a like I said, you have a name that I was surprised wasn't trademark. You know, like you got the trademark on such a solid, awesome name. You know, because it seems like all the good names get snatched up so fast. Yeah.
Oh, I'm still
around.
I still could be in trouble with the Lee Falk Phantom comic. You know, so. I'm not completely out of the woods. If they say something, I may have to come up with another name, but I doubt it. Because there is legalities in the sense that, well, I've been using it for so long already in commerce, and nobody ever said anything.
Mhm.
Right.
You know.
And then they come out of the woodwork all of a sudden. The more successful you get with it.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, you know, you got a lawyer. You said you did, and
yep.
that's
Yeah,
your
Robert.
first step. So.
Robert Romano hooked me up with Van Sciver's lawyer,
Mm.
and
Nice.
and he's definitely somebody on our side if anything comes down.
Well, that is a good thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, he's probably looked into it. I'm guessing, and then, but you know, like as I heard the name, I'm like, such a cool name. But I'm like, yeah, can't think of a character, you know, beforehand.
Yeah, so I call him the Black Phantom or the Fightin' Black Phantom. My daughter came up with the Fightin' thing. I can't even remember how or where, but when she was littler, she said the Fightin' Black Phantom. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm keeping that.
Yeah, I like it because it sounds like the fighting, you know, the fighting 59th or whatever, you know.
Yep.
Dude, JBot, that's looking awesome.
Yep.
Well, you got 2 characters, man. So I gotta bust out the Copics and see what I can do, man.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to be able to finish this tonight because I'm getting close to my bedtime. But I got a little bit of time. I get up at 5 every morning, but the nice thing is I'm on Pacific time, so when it's late for everybody else, I'm like, it's early for me, but I still have that 5 o'clock alarm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go make some packaging.
So you design it like a 3D model, basically, right?
Yeah, more or less. I don't often have to use any kind of 3D, but it starts as a flat object because they're usually, you know, that's how they're produced. But so that's where the glorified origami is, because you're just putting bends and folds and things. So it's a lot more like sheet metal, like doing 3D modeling with sheet metal. I have designed for video game companies before.
That's cool.
Yeah, the ones on in the Seattle area.
I forget who I was talking to.
Can't say who they are.
They did an RPG type comic.
Yeah,
because they're in, and I kept telling them, like, man, what you need to do is your box that you ship your book in, and that you need to get it designed to where you can take the box and convert it into a dice tower, you know. So
yeah, it becomes part of the set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it like a, you know, like Ethan was trying to do the chicken bucket thing, and I think that was a good idea. But I think if you could turn it into something more useful, like a gimmick, like a dice tower.
Well, that's always a good idea. I've designed plenty of things like that, and this happens quite often in my industry, is that I'll design something, these people with these big ambitions, like, this is what I want, and I'll spend hours and hours on it.
Right.
And then they're like, they get sticker shock, and then we pare it back to where it's basically goes back to like a normal package. And I'm like, all right, it was fun to dream, but you didn't want to pay the money. So
yeah, you know how you see those blockheads, those origami, you know, paper.
Yeah.
They're like a little Funko kind of thing. You could just put your own image on it. It'd be cool if it were just like a regular box with that stuff printed on the box to be cut out yourself. You could cut it. And
yeah, I did that one time with like perforations and stuff. And
yeah,
it was this lady she was selling pizza, but she wanted the pizzas to come in like a box that like kids could turn into shit. And I was like, okay, you know, so did all these designs of all these animals and stuff, and they fold up.
Oh, neat.
And again, it was the same thing. She just pared it back to like, okay, I just need a pizza box.
Yeah. Man, I had big ambitions that I can't afford right now.
Yeah, no, that happens quite often, especially with displays. I did this one for this. I can't say who I do stuff for, but it was huge giant display with like it was in the shape of a toaster,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually like had a lever that you would push down, and the product goes into the toaster, but like it would actually go in. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I could design that. Just for the same thing, they're like, "Oh, that's way expensive." I'm like, "Yeah, you're making it mechanical.
Yeah, what'd you
So-
expect?
It's more expensive."
So do you design the displays that go in grocery stores that get folded
Yeah.
together?
Yep.
Yeah, those
Yeah, I've
are
designed
cool.
quite a few displays. I mean, that's more of a rarity. Like those are the more fun projects that take a lot longer. But
Right.
yeah,
No,
I have to work with the graphics team a little more.
I think that stuff's really neat. I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And then I have to make stupid work instructions that are like
Yep.
as idiot proof as possible because some,
Oh.
it might be the retailer, but it might be the merchandiser or something putting it together. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hate bad instructions for furniture
Oh
that you
yeah.
have to put together. Like,
Well, we
do
know
you-
the reality is that most of that's made overseas and then it's translated to English.
right.
And so there's a lot of lost in translation stuff. So at least when I do it, it's going in
Back-
American stores
When I was
in English.
back when I was younger, in my 20s, I was dating a girl that went to college to do graphic design for instruction manuals for that
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a project. I had a technical writing class in college, and that was one of our projects was create work instructions. And then the teacher got this guy who was like an ex-Marine who was like very literal. And he's like, all right, do the instructions. And this one girl did making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And her first direction was put the peanut butter on the bread.
Right.
It's like I grabbed the jar of peanut butter and set it on the loaf of bread.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was like a lesson in try to make it as idiot proof as possible.
You know who Will Eisner is, of course.
Oh yeah.
He, for a good long time, did all the instruction manuals for the military on how to put their equipment together and repair Jeeps and fix all
Oh,
their
wow.
stuff. Yeah, like how to put their tents together, how to
Yeah, it had the Eisner touch too.
Yep, he did a ton of those like manuals. I've not seen too many of them, but he apparently did hundreds of them with his studio.
That's pretty cool. That'd be like just an interesting find and kind of like see if you could see his style coming through. But
Yep, he did it at a time when the comic market was in a slump. I would say probably in the 60s, 70s.
yeah,
Gosh, I miss comics like when we were kids. I miss being able to go to the grocery store and look at a spinner
oh, I
rack.
know. It's
Go to
so different now.
Yeah, there was so much joy in that. It was like discovering new things. I've never seen this hero before. Who is it and what does he do? Like,
And they smelled different back then.
yeah, man, I'm a comic sniffer from way back.
Yeah, with certain musk. Well, it's when they went away from newsprint, has a different smell.
Yeah,
It smells
like
like a magazine. Yeah.
all of our alternatives books though are in newsprint.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked the really nice newsprint, like the early image stuff, like Pit #1.
Yeah,
Whereas newsprint, but it was like the print quality was great. It was really saturated into the paper, and that stuff was great.
I like Pit #1 so much for the fact that
so good.
it's so raw. It's not as clean,
Yeah, and it was dark. Like
Yeah.
the issue 2, 3, and 4, like you got Scott Williams started inking on some of them, and then the colors got really bright and saturated. And I was like,
Yeah,
you lost that. You lost that
Joe-
feel that I love.
Joe Rubenstein was inking some of them,
Oh yeah.
but Mark Farmer was my favorite inker on him during the Hulk.
Oh, right, yeah.
But
Yeah, he had a few different ones on the Hulk, and you could tell the difference.
but going back to, I asked Pete where he was getting his books printed, and he didn't want to tell me. It's like,
That's
oh,
funny.
come on, really? You're
People
gonna
are like
hold on to it so tightly? But what I wanted to do with the Black Phantom is I would like to be able to do a tier where somebody could pay $20 and get like 5-6 copies to give away to their friends in the newsprint version, you know.
right.
Oh yeah, you like this? You want to support me? Well, here's a tier to buy 5-6 newsprint editions, and you can give them away.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought about printing my book on newsprint for the nostalgia element of it, because I'm kind of playing on some old sensibilities with it. But
I definitely, for the heck of it, I've got a book I want to do that I want to do as a manga size book, a graphic novel.
yeah,
I think that would be a lot of fun.
there's people who would like it. I think a lot of people are, it's hit or miss in the CG world, whether they like some people like Mo, who I think checked out, but anything that seems anything remotely to manga, he's like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I did 10 pages of my own kind of my own Ninja Turtles kind of thing, and pitched it and got rejected by Pete.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not upset with him. He had some good feedback.
Yeah, he eviscerated me on his show the other day.
Did he?
Well, he was asking everyone for their pitch, and
Man,
part of it was mine's an anthology story, so I had more than one story in the pitch, but it was on Twitter, so I only had so much space to really get it out there. And I was like, that did me in.
I didn't see that. I want to go back and watch it. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't the only one, so I didn't feel too bad. He was kind of going on, and I wasn't trying to get printed through him, like publishing my own stuff. But like,
I think he's very particular, and
sure,
he sticks with what he really likes.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. I mean, if I were him, I would be too. You know, like it's your brand. You know.
Yep.
Came out all wonky. Oh.
Yeah, I was pitching it for it came out on a Wednesday, so I did like a first episode of like 10 pages. And he's like, but it's not the complete story. I'm like, well, okay.
Like, well, I'm not done yet.
He goes, I really love the artwork, and I think the artwork's all awesome. And yeah, his critiques were basically that and my lettering and my writing. So,
well, and that's the thing. Like, it does come down to different strokes, you know. But I mean, anytime someone gives you a critique, you know, you take stock in it, but you also know your audience and like where that critique's coming from. Like, is this my audience? You know, because if you are making a fantasy book and you know the person is just all about that and they're telling you it stinks or something, or they're giving you a lot of criticism, you're like, okay, I should listen to this. You're like,
yeah.
You're my audience.
No, he gave good criticism. and he liked my work, so I mean, he wasn't like a complete
Yeah.
letdown. But damn it, I want to figure out where he prints his books.
World may never know.
I know he's holding that so close. I wonder if he's just worried everybody's going to start printing newsprint books, and
Could be.
I mean, originally I wanted to do it through him. I wanted to print Black Phantom, the newsprint edition, through him, and then he quit doing that partnership program.
Yeah.
But Billy 2G managed to get books printed in newsprint through him.
Well, maybe someday he'll reveal the secret, or you find your own place.
The world may never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have. There's a place locally that prints newspaper ads. The local papers.
Right.
I may have to go ask and see if they can do it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, there's printers all around, and they don't have to necessarily specialize in comic books. It's just helpful if they do, because then they've already done it before.
Yeah. I've had great luck with Mix'em. I don't know about you. Have you ever tried it or not? But
I have not, but our printer is in Toronto, because that's where my other half.
So you are Canadian.
I'm not.
Technically, you are in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we're printing in Canada, and like I said, half of my company's in Canada. So my bro James Rock, who created Magnificent Bastards, he's in Toronto. So
sweet.
Avon printer, and it's pretty decent price, and
Avon's
book looks great.
Avon's the big one.
Avon.
Yeah, isn't it Avon printing?
I don't know. Never heard of them.
Oh, I thought you said Avon was the printer.
No, it's a smaller printer, but everything looking great. But I mean, it's not like we're printing large quantities here, unfortunately.
I would love to print the first book with a chromium cover.
Oh yeah. See, that's the thing. If I get into like really specialty stuff and start getting more gimmicky, or like, I don't know, use the term gimmicky, but that's basically what it is. It's more specialized, then there might come a time where it's like, okay, now we need to look at that.
I wonder what the minimum is on a chromium cover.
I don't know. I see campaigns with lots of variant covers that are more impressive, like chromium and things like that, and it's like,
nah,
they're small prints. They have to be, because they have so many variants.
I don't want to do a ton of variants. That's why I'm like, I don't want to do any other extra covers. I just want to do like one really good one cover, and then the newsprint edition.
Well, I know for mine, I had two covers, but it's because I have a black and white and a color version.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I'm going to have a black and white and color, different covers. And then my other thing is, if we do a second print, which we will do, a second print, then I'll do a whole different color or cover. So that way it's like distinguishable from the first one. So that everybody who got this first one off the campaign knows they got the original.
There is a really good local printer, and they are a big printing company, and they do have their own comic website.
Yeah,
they go by they get confused, but they're with the other one, but they're called Litho Ninja. and they got a calculator on their site. You can estimate and get books done. I think they cost a little bit more than
That's pretty
you
cool.
would get through Mix'em, but they can do sketch cover variants for you, and Donald originally did Brutus 1 through them, and they shipped it, and then the delivery person left it at the wrong address outside in the rain, and all the books got water damaged.
Oh, horrible.
And everybody thought he was lying and making shit up. So he turned around and he went through another printer because he was so upset. He used my printer.
I would be like, yeah, I'm done with you guys. You blew the one chance. Yeah. Like, that's a big thing. You're like, you screwed up all the books you sent me.
Yeah.
Like, that's no good.
But Mix'em's done good. I've done two sketchbooks and my one Kid Squid variant cover through them, and they turned out great. Yeah. I do realize that they're one of those companies though that just hires out smaller printers, and
right. Yeah, that makes it harder for quality control and stuff like that.
Well, so far I've had good quality. I haven't had bad quality at all. And they did tell me if there's any kind of cover I want, that they can have it done, like foils and different stuff. The one that that does the yearbooks that everybody goes through, I can't remember their name offhand. They're a little expensive.
Yeah, when I was looking into it, I was just looking into local stuff, and then when James told me about the place that he found in Toronto, I was like, "Hey, if it's legit." But he was doing his book first, so he was my guinea pig.
Nice.
So I saw the quality he was getting back, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm full in on this." But again, there's nothing crazy about it, no variant. But the paperweight stock was good. The colors were popping and looked great. So
I think Canada is where Cyberfrog is printed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I want to say Quebecor, but wherever DC Comics get their books done is where he gets his.
I do not know. I just assumed somebody like DC would have like multiple printers.
You know, I've noticed, like he did those Cyberfrog with the raised covers. They're solid color. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden this year, DC's got books just like it.
Yeah, their sales rep walked in while those were being printed. He's like, "Oh,
here's
an idea."
Nice. Like those old school Avengers that were like red or gold, and they had the embossed covers.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I don't want to have too many bells and whistles on my first campaign. I just want real basic.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a good call. Like, I also think, or I don't know, the approach I took was like very few tiers. You know, it was just kind of like, here's the book. We're selling the book. We're not selling a lot of gadgets and gizmos. Yeah, and maybe that'll come sometime. But I'm like, why would somebody invest in that when they don't even know the book? You know?
That's why I'm making sure I have a book, 2 books. They're already finished. You're not gonna have to wait.
No, I like that approach too, that you're done already. I mean, everybody likes that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I I like the idea that crowdfunding is there to support you while you're working on the project, but
Yeah,
starting out, people have been burned so much, it's better to start out.
yeah, it's hard to garner confidence when people are like, "Well, I don't know, it's happened before. I
Yeah.
hear all the good stuff." And
Mm-hmm.
So right now I need to like start thinking about looking at printing prices and how much do I want to set my tiers at. I'm gauging maybe like 14, 15 bucks for the 2 books. But
I mean, that's a great price point, man.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help. I set mine high, and part of it was because I didn't know where I was printing,
mhm,
and it's still. I mean, it did really good considering like I'm nobody, you know. But the thing is, the next one I'm going to be able to drive the price down quite a bit because I think that held me up because I was like, it's kind of expensive. I
see.
get it.
But I'm not going to give the option to buy either or book. You get both books
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
because I can't do it justify just doing a $7, $8 book. You know.
Right. And you're going to have them printed as separate books, or are they going to be combined?
I'm gonna do separate books.
That's pretty cool. So then you know take that into account for cost. You're going to buy twice as many bags and boards and things like that. But
Yeah.
the shipping won't change. But.
Yep. And I've got a. It's quite possible I might get a break because I got a friend in Louisiana, one state over, that owns a UPS shipping store.
That's yeah. If you can get a break there, that's always nice.
I'll
That's
see.
a hard one to get around. Yeah, especially overseas. That's always the hard one.
That's what I'm really concerned about. Like, like in my own personal, like in the shop on my website, I have it set to where I only ship to US right now.
Right. Well, and you know, if you have a digital tier, that helps. Like that's what I did, and I got quite a few of not only international, but people who are like, "Hey, I don't want to spend the whole shebang on the whole book because I don't know you or anything." But if I'm out,
Yeah.
you know, $5-10 for a digital, then yeah,
I'm not sure I want to do that though.
I get the hesitations. But I
Like
was
every time a new Lady Death comes out, it's immediately on the pirate sites.
yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, I would probably be more hesitant the more popular it becomes. But as a new guy, I'm like, fuck yeah, pirate it.
Yeah.
Everybody and their dog should be reading this for free. I don't care.
Interesting.
And then, yeah, over time, then I go, well, if it's popular enough, then I don't want it pirated. But
That's an
right now, I'm
interesting,
like, I want to be popular. So
interesting way of thinking of it.
yeah, and I'm kind of a free source mindset in general. I'm like, people are going to do what they're going to do, you know?
Yeah. Well, nobody has bought and scanned Cyberfrog yet. So
That's interesting.
yep, there's not a.
Well, I know he's against digital. He's just not a believer in that. So I'm like, but I'm not a digital guy. I hate reading digital comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I know, again, it was for like people overseas, people who are like a little hesitant, like, hey, I might throw some money your way and give it a shot, and maybe I'll be a full-on backer someday. But I, you know, risk versus reward. I'll throw you $10 for a digital. You know,
Right.
I don't know what a digital was at $5. I think maybe it was.
I noticed the Diaz brothers, they do it, but theirs is exactly the same price as a physical copy.
Yeah. But there's no shipping costs, so it's a little cheaper. But yeah, I always think that's funny. I saw that too. I was like, "Yeah, interesting approach."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting close to tapping, man.
Sounds good, man.
Finish this arm.
I just ruined my background, so I'm like,
No, you didn't.
church.
You didn't do that. You didn't ruin it.
I'm like, this is not turning out the way I wanted it to. I'm like,
I don't even see a background. What'd you do? Oh, you erased it before I could see it.
no, I'm trying to do the I'm trying to do
Lighting.
some lighting on it, and it's like,
Oh,
ah!
you know, as long as it shows action, it's gonna look badass. Like it really can be more frenetic than you realize. I think. Like if you keep the lines in a fluid, that's all it needs. Like it won't matter what you do as long as they're fluid.
I like how I stop. It like does this stupid. Fuck.
No,
I
it's
have-
perfect.
I don't think I have a blender.
If you're not confident with it, leave it.
Well, there's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't tread there if you're not sure.
Well, you got the light box, man. You can always
Yep.
Yeah, but I want to do it again.
experiment with different backgrounds.
Yeah.
I want to do it again.
I'm just gonna cut them out.
That's why I never use a light box because I'm like, I don't want to do it again.
No, man, it's cool. I like it. Just leave it.
Yeah, I really like it.
Put your signature on it.
Like that. Call of the day. Don't touch it.
Yep. It's done, dude. Awesome, man. Post it on the Twitter sphere.
Yeah.
There we go.
So tomorrow I'm gonna mess with this a bit more, and I'll give him a. That's funny. I always joke about this because my camera skews everything. It makes his legs look all little.
No.
The angle of my drafting table, I'm like, his legs look all.
I dig it.
Yeah, I'll add. What was his name? The horn frog guy.
Horn toad.
Horn toad. Okay. So I'm sitting here. What's horn frog's name? Horn toad. Oh, okay.
Horn toad. He's a horny toad.
Yeah. I'm gonna give him a little voice bubble. It's like, get over here, you fine piece of ass.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna rip you a new one.
Yeah. He's like, do your worst. I'm dead.
Yeah. You smell bad. That's what he would say.
No, I like how you did the gray with the Copics there, Jay. That looks awesome.
Thank you, Funny Pictures Comics.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Or woman.
Person.
Person thing. No.
Zeezer.
The
Zim.
Goonies line.
You're muted, Jay. Oh, there. I think you're.
There we go.
You're good.
There we go.
I like
We don't know
how
anymore.
Rather than talking to it, you tap it.
Yeah. Is this it? Whack whack.
You gave us. We both did nice crotch shots.
Yeah.
You did. It's very sexual.
Mm. He's like, look at these bones. Whoa.
Yeah. The main
Yeah.
bone.
You like skeletons. Boners.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever seen the Bone Smuggler?
Yeah, bone smuggling.
Yeah, I guess my zeros are empty already. I'm like, man, I just bought these Copics. Zeros donezo.
You don't have the refill?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you buy the big refill bottles. So you don't have to buy the pins.
Yeah, these are my first ones.
Oh, I made myself change my camera, and then I'm like, I'm big. Turn me off.
You got this nice
Mm.
cascading water effect going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone likes it. So what it is it's a Halloween light, that you like shine on your outdoor wall.
Yeah, it's it
I put it
makes
in
that
there and just shine it on the bag.
it makes that map look digital, like nautical,
Right?
like the water's like rippling on it.
Yeah, I set that up one time. I'm like, yeah, that's Stan.
Yep.
That's Stan. When I stream, I put that light on. Well, because I have like a fluorescent light above me, and it's just super bright. Like if I'm streaming and I turn that on, so I just have all this extra lighting around me to compensate for it. Me,
I've got all this bisexual lighting.
Well, you got this cool aquarium effect too behind you with the
I got
3PO, but it looks like he's in an aquarium.
I've got these shelves that I built. You could buy all the pieces, and they got slots that when you flip it upright, they got these little wire things that are book ends, that you can stick in them, and so rather than have books, I just flipped them upside down and ran the lighting in the crack of it.
Yeah, and it changes color.
Yeah. I could turn it to strobe, like a strobe effect.
Oh, are those like tape rope light things?
Yep.
Yeah. My daughters have them all in their room all over the place. But they are cool because you can do different lighting and different.
Yep.
I guess let's do one pass through of the art stuff. Maybe making it big. We'll do that.
One pass through.
I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna hold it up when I do it.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's a great street lamp, by the way.
Yeah, right. It was fun.
Pretty awesome.
It was straw. It was straight, and I was like, fuck that, man. We're gonna make this thing fun. So I went,
make it crooked.
Making it crooked is awesome because it looks like he like landed on it and kind of crushed it.
Yep, badass. Yeah, he did like some flying flip or something, and
yeah, the comic book landing right on the lamppost.
Yeah.
Yep.
I dig it.
It came up
very
pretty
awesome.
Good.
Yeah, very good job, man.
I like it.
I did too.
We'll see if I black out the background or not. He was like, I don't like it. Black it out.
Oh man, just black the whole thing out.
Did you know how many times I've done a black ground? I love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well, it makes the image just pop, and then you're like, well, it's kind of a cop out, but I'm like, not really. You know how long it took me to black all that?
Yeah, it's like I did for the cyber. I did it once for the cyber frog, and now it's like you're addicted. You're like, let me get just a big fat black marker, and then just like.
Oh yeah, I remember that piece.
And then just like I was like, and then put.
Well, and then there's the thing, you go in with some white dots, and you're like,
how old is that?
Makes sense.
I did this a couple months ago.
All right,
but you've got a cityscape behind there, so it's not.
Yeah.
So for me, like, there's been times where I've gone full on, just like, here's a character, the background.
There you go. Yeah, I did the same thing for my Mikey piece too that I sold the Abra bot.
Oh, nice,
awesome.
Just was like, yeah, let's black it, and I think also the Casey Jones I did too, and we'll see. I might do the same thing for this one just because they usually turn out good, but I'm gonna have to get some more pit brushes.
It takes a lot of ink.
It does, but they go on so well.
You can scan it and do it digitally really easy.
Boo. They don't have a physical copy. Where'd it go? I don't know why.
You have the physical, but it just doesn't have the background.
No, I kept the Casey Jones. It's the T-shirt that I'm wearing. The little Rat Jones, Street Rat. Is what I call it. It's around here somewhere. But I did the same thing and did the cityscape and the
Casey Jones and me.
Casey Jones. Do. Or no, I was thinking of the Here He Comes Casey Jr.'s back.
Yeah, and that one.
Going down the track.
Yeah, so that works.
I do the white pen around it.
Yeah, that helps too, because then you get.
So that might be really cool here.
Yeah,
but it does. It pulls that character right to your focus, and
yeah,
I don't believe it for this one. I think, well, if you did like the city skyline in the back, that would definitely be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I even like to maybe play with some splatter with some maybe splatter some white if I did the background black, then spatter some white ink around
for the
here,
sky.
you know, for like to make the light
The
like
glow.
it's the, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like the glow of the
I
lamp.
see.
You know, might be neat. I've never done it before, so that'd be the like, hey, way to swing it, baby.
Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
that's the whole thing.
And then I say go for it.
But there's a first
So-
time for everything, right?
And I put a
Yep.
big ass McFarlane image moon right up here.
Oh, dude, a circular. That was a Frazetta move first.
Yeah, you go. The
Really?
Frazetta
The
moon.
Frazetta thing. Put something circular, like kind of offset somewhere.
We're gonna
and
put two. I'll put two moons. Fucking.
2 moons fucking.
I'll put the moon. Yeah, right. There you go. Then it becomes a totally different piece.
It's the man and the woman in the moon.
He was on
they're-
Tatooine this whole time. The twin
It's
sons.
on
Is what we have there.
Tatooine.
They're mooning you.
Yeah.
Those
Let's see
aren't
yours, Odin.
moons.
All right, you can make me big, as I'm just gonna hold it up because it's
Shazam.
used when I don't. That's it.
Oh yeah, that's
cool,
awesome.
man. I love it.
I gotta go bigger, man.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun to go big,
Yeah.
but I'm like I'm using 11 by 17, which is what I always draw on anymore. So,
Yeah. I gotta start going bigger.
yeah.
Billy, I'm gonna use a Google Moon just for you
I'm
now.
gonna hold it just like this so you can kind of see Horn Toad.
Nice.
So that'll
Yep.
be next, and some kind of maybe a full black round. Let's see.
Yeah. Black ground.
Black
ground.
Phantoms, black ground.
Yeah,
There you
Billy
go.
says he hates when a colorist use a Google image. Well, yeah, Google images. Just
My
it's not hard to draw a moon. It's really not.
my next
It's
book,
it's
though, I'm gonna
pretty
have
fun.
more. I'm gonna have more sidekick kind of characters in it. In my
Mm.
next one.
All right, debig me, man. It's weird.
Oh,
Take a big
Uh,
drag.
back
Awesome.
in my day.
Back in my
Back in my day, we didn't have moons.
We
Dude,
had
that's
candy. We had candy cigarettes.
the old school guys though. You see some old drafting tables, they have ashtrays built into them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they got like an inkwell place, and then they got an ashtray.
I know. I'd love.
Like,
To,
That's cool.
I'd love to get an old drafting table, man. I had
have you
one
seen-
growing up.
Have you seen pictures of Jack Kirby's?
No.
Yes, it's time. It's small though.
It's tiny and it's destroyed. It's like seen so many years. It's like he never upgraded. He just used that same one every
It's-
single piece. It's so badass looking.
Disney owns it.
Oh, Disney owns
Oh
it.
wow.
Yeah,
Gosh, do they own
It's
his
on-
grave?
it's
Do they
on.
own
Dis-
his ashes? Like,
it's
what?
at it's at Hollywood Studios at Disney World on display.
Oh, well, that would
It's in
make me
a-
almost want to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a museum on the lot, and they put a lot of old artifacts in it, and
Nice.
it's in a big glass case, so you can't touch it. But it's set up like a little studio with
But
a
that's like a
table.
museum, and I would pull an
Yeah.
Indiana Jones like this belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
We gotta save this table.
Well, and his
So-
chair is like that old, like industrial green,
Mhm.
you know, like one of those old little swivel chair. Like everything
Yeah.
about it just.
And metal wheels.
It's like it's not big. It's almost as big as one you'd buy from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, like a drafting table.
Oh yeah, and smaller than that. Like mine is bigger than his, and mine's not that big. You know,
My monitor, this monitor, is on a big giant
That sounds
antique
hilarious.
drafting table.
Nice.
It's huge.
I almost got one from the school was liquidating all their old ones. They were selling them for like I don't know, like $30 or something. But they're like 1,000 pounds or something, you know. And they
Oh,
have
yeah.
drawers on each side, and then a
Metal and
adjustable-
wood.
Yeah, but they're all set up with like a T-square already on them and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Oh
neat.
man. Yeah, I had one growing up. I'm trying to think. It had like a big ass like wrought iron like metal crank that you would crank to
Yeah,
its
to raise it.
angle. Like under the thing, you had to climb on there and go
Yeah.
to raise this damn thing up.
Get Popeye forearms from.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know what happened to it, man. I was like, oh, I'd kill to get one of those again.
Yeah.
Those are cool. The one I got is got the glass, which is kind of cool though.
I kind of
Yeah,
wish
it
I
is
had
pretty
a.
neat.
an old school animation table, but then at the same time, I'm like, I wouldn't use it. It would just be sitting in the corner or
It should be
something.
an artifact, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Billy Baxco. He said there should be a comic book about a temp agency that provides sidekicks to heroes in the hopes that the new kick will get permanently placed.
That's a novel concept. I think the
kinda-
tech did something like that.
It's kind of like Dial H for Hero
Mhm.
a little bit, but with sidekicks.
I thought the Tick did something like that, but I think it was more just like the sidekicks were like had their own little club, and they're like
They did. They had their own bar and everything.
we're tired of getting pushed around by heroes. Yeah, we know who the real hero is.
I like the Tick books.
Yeah, Tick was great. Ben Edlund.
Yeah, I read. Last time I read the Tick comics, I was in the hospital a couple years ago with the COVID pneumonia. I read all the volumes of it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I liked all the. Well, I really liked the cartoon and the live action. The first one. I like Patrick Warburton. You know, every once in a while you see a comic book adaptation and the voice matches.
Yep.
Not always, but Patrick Warburton, I was like, that's the Tick voice I've been looking for.
Yep, they should have brought him back for the newer series, but they didn't.
Yeah, everybody kept telling me the new one's good, and I'm like, but the guy's like skinny and he doesn't have the masterful voice, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't bad, but
pseudo masterful voice.
Too textured too. His suit was all textured. It's like, why does everything has to be textured? I think him being smooth and shiny is like the way.
Even the Patrick Warburton one, I was like, it's a little weird. But the one thing is, I wish they could do is get emotive eyes, but cover his eyes and just have white slants. You know,
right?
Yeah.
I wish they could have got that, but like they never get that because that's probably too hard to do with a costume.
Nice. Let's see. Bidley says crappy temps would bitch about all the short-term jobs they had with heroes that didn't work out. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, you need to do it. You guys do it.
Mm-hmm. Jason said I shared this out and tagged everyone so Chad can follow me back if he so wishes. Awesome.
I will. I'll follow you back, Jason.
I think it's time for bed.
Yep. Good night. Happy
I'm
trails.
I'm on that train. All right.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for drawing my character. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
That was a super nice gesture. So thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Thanks for having a cool character to draw.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, nice to meet you as well. And
yeah, I'll be back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see you around, of course.
I'll be shooting you guys the link as always.
Just in time.
Did he? Yep. Dang it, Hockey. Was he smoking briskets? I'm smoking briskets, man. I can't.
Jason says it's time for porn, which that's pre-bed ritual.
Yes.
You know, you can't sleep without a little bit.
All right, I'm shutting it down before it gets weird.
All right, shut it down. Bye.
Later, everybody. Hey guys, JBot here. Let me tell you about MightyBotStudio.com. Now, MightyBotStudio.com is a hub for all of my content, including my YouTube, my Instagram, and also my Twitter. On top of that, we have a MightyBot Studio store where you can go and order yourself a pint glass. You can get a mug. We have multiple hoodies, t-shirts, and hat designs. So make sure if you guys haven't checked it out already, visit MightyBotStudio.com.